please go to DVDs4vets.org. That's DVDs, the number 4vets.org.
Hi, I'm Jervis DeChico, partner and financial advisor at the Spectrum Planning Group and host of The Wealth Map. Tune in to The Wealth Map every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on KLZ 560 to learn how you can navigate opportunity like a pro and map a course to your financial goals.
No, your mics aren't on. Yeah. Yes. Exactly, yeah. To like record something or? Oh, okay. Okay, yeah. I think if we took it out of program, did you hear that at all?
Got a full tank of gas.
Let me figure it out.
And we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it. Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now.
Buckle in for the ride of your life. K&N Engineering and Colorado Select Auto Care Centers present Gearheads High Performance Radio, Denver's only talk show dedicated to bad cars, bad trucks, and the bad to the bone gearheads who own them. This is bench racing taken to a whole new level. Gearheads with ASE certified master mechanics and third-generation hot rodders, Donnie Cypher and John Rush on KLZ 560 The Source and 560thesource.com. Gearheads is on the air now.
All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm your host today, John Rush. Along with me is Steve Horvath from Geno's. Good morning. Welcome, Steve. And Randy Hunt from Toyota's with us, as I told everybody a few weeks ago he would be, so appreciate Randy coming down. And
always a pleasure to be here.
I enjoy having Randy on all the time. Wealth of knowledge. He's our resident Toyota expert. You know, works for Toyota, lives, breathes, eats Toyota. How long have you been with them, Randy?
Coming up on 16 years.
So there you go. So wow. Randy's done it for a very long time. We've got a special announcement that Randy will make in regards to his end of things here shortly. Quickly, some of you that hopefully are joining us on YouTube, I'll make that announcement right now. If you want to see us on air, we'll wave to the camera. If you want to see us live on air, you can. You can go to youtube.com, and in the search bar under YouTube, just type in all one word, just type in Drive Radio. And I believe right now we've kind of trended up to where we're the second video. This live feed is the second video. Click on that. You'll watch us live, and I would encourage you to do that. One other thing, too, that we would like you to do is subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of videos up there from all of the K&N interviews we've done. We're now starting to do all of our reviews via video. You're going to start seeing the show live every week. I'll give you a little plus, too. We're going to do another show every other Thursday right in this studio. We're going to do some things with Haystack, Colorado, and we'll actually broadcast. I'm going to do my best to broadcast that at the same time. And as you can see, Ken Rackley's joining us, just walked in. Appreciate him also joining us and helping us out. But ultimately, we're still here every single week to answer your questions. Yes, we talk about a lot of different topics and bring you a lot of different information, things that we hope are helpful to you. But in the end, we want to talk to you. So give us a call, 303-477-5600. You can still do that. You can still email me also. So maybe some of you that are out there watching on YouTube, the easiest way to actually get a comment to us, because I'm going to try to leave my laptop alone while it's doing all this recording. So if you want to get a comment to us, email me. I've got my phone, my iPad. I've got 3 different devices here I can read off of. So go ahead and send us an email. John, it's John, at drive-radio.com. Give us that. Whatever question is, comment, things that you like, don't like, and we'll be happy to answer those questions live on air, and we'll do that throughout the show. And then also you can ask those questions all week long. I get a lot of those questions. We answer them during the week. In some cases it's multiple questions in a day. If I don't have time to answer them, I've got 10, 12 other people that I can forward those to and get questions answered. So I've got a lot of different help on that. So by all means, let us know. 303-477-5600, though, is our phone number. We'd love to chat with you. And most of all, happy Easter. So yesterday was Good Friday. Some of you were probably out at some services last night. Easter Sunday's tomorrow. So enjoy this time together with your family, and whatever you do for in your life, worship-wise, etc. Just enjoy the weekend and have a good weekend. And it's kind of cloudy out, but it's really not all that cold, is it, guys?
No, it's in the 60s.
It's actually pretty nice out. I was surprised. I looked out this morning and thought it was going to, you're so used to it being cloudy and being a little bit cooler, but it's not today. It's actually really nice outside, and you can see Steve looking out the window because we have a great view. I can't show you this. Maybe we will at some point. We'll flip the camera around and show you what our view is like. So once we get the mountains cleared up, we'll try to do that. But we have a great studio. Appreciate what they do for us here at KLZ. And we have a lot of fun. So anyways, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you, 303-477-5600. Topics for today. Randy's going to talk about some new things that are coming from Toyota, not only product-wise, but they made an announcement here recently where they're going to see some significant mileage gains in the engine designs that they've got coming out in the near future. We'll talk about some of that. CVT transmissions, that's been a hot topic on our program for a number of years. It's going to continue to be a hot topic, and I want to make sure that that we talk more about that, because that's it's just a hot topic. It's a change that's coming. Different things in the industry, trend right now. Jayco, who Nissan owns a very good, a portion, I should say, of that. I don't know if I'm saying that exactly right. I'll look it up and let you know if that's the right wording. But anyways, they own a good portion of the company that builds the majority of CVTs, even some stuff for Toyota, I believe. And anyways, they're coming a long ways, and we'll talk about why that is. Some people, some technicians especially, hate them. Well, I'll tell you, they're here to stay. They're not going anywhere. And as we look at different technology that's coming up, in fact, I just did an interview yesterday with somebody else from Toyota. Craig Scott is the gentleman's name. That's actually up on our podcast right now, and I'm going to try to do some video interviews with him in a couple of weeks when he's out here in Colorado. But he's in charge of hydrogen, actually advanced development for Toyota, but hydrogen specifically. So we had a long conversation about hydrogen, where that's coming, how that's going to work, lots of information, and I was fascinated by not only the technology, but how far it's come in recent years. So it's going to be an up-and-coming, despite what the owner of Tesla said and has been saying, for the last several months, that, it's BS. Well, it's not BS. It's real stuff. Multiple manufacturers are working on hydrogen. And the thing about hydrogen that's different than an electric vehicle is you can fill up at a normal service station. There's no wait time it takes. It actually fills faster than you can fill your car with gasoline today, and the range is the same.
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 5 minutes for a fill-up.
Yep.
And you get a range of over 300 miles. That's right. What we're seeing right now.
And that's on just a mid-size car. Sorry, not mid-size. It's a car that's basically between a Corolla and a Camry. So it's not really even a mid-size car, 300-mile range. Well, they get into that, get into some of the bigger vehicles where they can put bigger tanks, et cetera. That miles will actually increase also.
Subcompact.
Yep.
Yeah. And the mileage, the mileage equivalent, obviously, you can't compare apples to apples in that case. But I think the cost is much lower.
Yeah, actually, we talked about that. That's a great point, Randy. Listen to our podcast, because we specifically talked about some of that and got into those details. And right now, in today's standards, with fuel in California being around $3.80 a gallon, basically it's even today, because the cost of hydrogen is still fairly high, because the hydrogen itself doesn't cost a lot, but the production infrastructure, et cetera, the cost to bring it to market is still high. But what him and I talked about yesterday, which I, just as we were talking, I'm thinking in my mind, as the demand for hydrogen goes up and the infrastructure continues to get built countrywide, even worldwide for that matter, as production increases, the cost will come down.
Sure.
And you know what? So will gasoline, because as hydrogen increases and the use of gasoline decreases, you're going to see those. I think my own future predictions are you'll see hydrogen come along and actually push prices on gasoline down, because those oil manufacturers will still want to, the oil producers will still want to produce oil, suck it out of the ground. Those foreign countries, et cetera, they're going to want to still sell oil, because that's how they make their money. Yeah. And in turn, they're going to drive that hydrogen. This is my prediction. Hydrogen will drive the cost of gasoline down. Now, I may be totally wrong. We'll see in 15, 20 years if I'm right. So this is now being recorded on YouTube and podcast, so we can go back and listen. I'm not sure it'll still be up 20 years from now, but that's my feeling.
But I think some of that, though, is when you take a look at how we produce hydrogen. It's not, you're not taking water and breaking it down. You're taking natural gas.
That's right.
And obviously here in Colorado we've got an abundance of that. As a country, we've got an abundance of natural gas, so that's going to be pretty important for us. And here, and just so the listeners know, we have a couple hydrogen-fueled or hydrogen-powered fuel cells based on our older version of the Highlander that are out at NREL, National Renewable Energy Laboratory in Golden, and they've been testing those here in real-world applications, running them up in the mountains and the altitude and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So.
Awesome. No, that's very cool technology. So we got a couple lines open. Give us a call, 303-477-5600. We're going to go to Mike right now that's listening to us. Mike, welcome. What's going on today?
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a question, a Toyota warranty question.
Okay.
My wife and I purchased a used 2008 Avalon Limited from a lady who bought the 100,000-mile Toyota warranty with it. And the warranty transferred to us. Toyota did that, and I got a vibration in the front when I brake on it, and I suspect, and I've talked to Ray and a few guys, I suspect I got some rotor warping or something. Basically, I think what happened, that radar cruise, when somebody pulls in front of you, that car just about stops on a dime.
The adaptive cruise.
And the adaptive cruise. And so I've got, when you hit the brakes at 60 or 50 or 70, it just shakes that wheel apart on you. And so I was going to take it into the dealer and have them look at it, and I said, if it needs rotors, I'm sure this warranty extended will do. I'm hoping it'll cover it. He says, well, it depends. I don't know. Sometimes these warranties don't. Does that Toyota 100,000 cover rotors like that?
I wouldn't think so, but
Randy's the expert. I wouldn't either, but we'll ask Randy.
Yeah.
It depends. I mean, if it's the we've got a number of different warranties. There's the Toyota Certified Used Vehicle, which comes with a 60 or 100,000 mile warranty. So I don't know if it's covered under that. Typically, brake rotors though are not covered because it's a wear item.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I wondered that too. This is the Platinum or something 100,000 mile that was purchased from Toyota when she bought the car from.
Okay, so that is actually not the Certified Used Vehicle Warranty, but one of our products that Toyota Financial Services sell, and there's specifics in there that are covered and aren't covered, but again, most likely the brake rotors are not.
That's fine. I just thought I'd check. I'm going to replace them if they need it. It's just a maintenance item, so I thought I'd check. But anyway, thank you very, very much.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Thanks for listening. And Mike's a frequent caller. Appreciate him listening. And all of you, we say it a lot on air, but I really do mean it. Thanks to all of you that listen. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing as a show. And especially, all of the work we've put in the last few weeks just to do this YouTube thing. I was telling the guys this last week, I think my wife's about ready to shoot me. I spent I don't know how many evenings this week trying to figure out exactly how to make everything work, and I'm still not. You can tell if you guys are watching from our camera that I'm not super crazy about our quality. It's not bad, but I wish it was a little bit better. Anyways, we'll continue to work on that. So, anyways, enjoy it. We do this for you guys. We appreciate it. It does take a lot of time, not only from me, but our guests. These guys prep. They do a lot of things during the week. A lot of them help me out during the week to do different things, answer questions, etc. There's a lot that goes in to making this show happen every week. Larry especially, drives down here every single week, takes your calls, helps out behind the scenes. Him and I had actually a meeting down here this week with KLZ on just kind of, just brainstorming different things. How can we change up some things in the show, different things along those lines. Again, just to make things fresh for you all that are listening, so that it's a joy for you guys to listen to it, and it just doesn't become something that is just mundane. We want to bring fresh content, do fresh things with you on a regular basis. And KLZ's been a great partner for us now. But my point is, Larry had to take time out of his week. I did. There's a lot of guys that are involved in this, and gals, not just guys. We've got a lot of people involved in making this thing happen each week. And again, and these guys will attest to that. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you. And as I say it constantly, if you like what we do, go visit, right? You've got Ken over here to my left, which in your video is going to be in the gray shirt. So go visit Ken Rackley, Steve Horvath. Ken's out at Tune Tech. Steve's at Geno's. So we've got Aurora and Littleton. And go visit those guys. Again, and by the way, when you walk in the door, tell them that now that you've seen them on YouTube, but tell them that you listen and that you're part of the radio audience, family, if you would. Let them know that. They appreciate that. They know exactly then that the time they invest here is paying off. The last thing they want to do is come down and do this show week after week after week and never hear from any of you.
Yeah.
That, they want to know from you that you're listening, that what we do counts and matters, and I know it does, but you know what? It's nice to hear that occasionally, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly. And we always try to ask, too, but but it's still...
It's nice when somebody, though, just walks in the door and says, hey, you know what? I hear you guys on the radio every week.
Yeah, exactly.
I was listening, yes.
Yeah. And that's a very important thing. So, again, if you would do that when you come in to our facilities, that would be great. You can find them at coloradoselect.com. All of our facilities are listed there. And sometimes they change periodically. We add some new members, which we've done recently. So, you know what? Check that out. Make sure that you're viewing that. coloradoselect.com. Find one near you, and that way there's no confusion as to who you're going to, who we support, who supports us, and that's a very important thing. So, guys, real quick, let's take a quick break. Those of you that are on YouTube, you'll get to continue to watch us. Now, we're going to try to figure out how to keep letting you listen to us during the breaks. We haven't quite figured all that out yet, but we'll get there. So you may have to read lips during this. We'll see how that goes. But we have a short break coming up. Stay with us. We'll be back. Give us a call, 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, along with Randy Hunt, Ken Rackley, Steve Horvath, Drive Radio, 560 KLZ the Source. We'll be back after these messages.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Heading out on the road? Spring travel means unpredictable weather, but don't get blindsided by car trouble. John's 4x4 puts your mind at ease with a thorough inspection backed by knowledge, experience, quality parts, and workmanship. Take advantage of their online promotions available at johns4x4.com. Hit the road, but first, steer yourself into John's 4x4, a proud member of Colorado Select Napa Auto Care, located in Boulder and Fort Collins, and both are open during construction. You'll also find them on Facebook. John's 4x4.
Cleaning out the garage and cleaning up the yard means spring cleaning. Don't forget to clean up your car. Arvada West Auto sees a need in vehicles for spring maintenance after a cold, snowy winter takes its toll on your vehicle. We want to help you keep safe and your car running smoothly. Our ANSI certified technicians are experts at what they do. Ask us about our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Let us and the power of Napa Auto Care keep you on the road. Call Arvada West Auto 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at ArvadaWestAutoandTruck.com, where every question is important. See you soon.
Now, back to Gearheads on The Source, AM560 KLZ.
All right, we're back. Thanks for listening to us. And again, if you've got something you want to ask us, send us an email, john@drive-radio.com. We'll get it answered as quickly as we can. And then on top of that, most of all, call us. And really, you can call us from anywhere. The way cell phones work today, the need to have a 1-800 number has literally vanished because, long distance it really doesn't exist anymore. So if you're on a cell phone, even listening through one of the apps that we've got, go ahead and call us 303-477-5600. And let's see who's texting me. So let's see. You keep talking, guys. I'll read my text while you guys are talking.
Do you answer telegrams too?
We could. SOS.
Yeah. We'll send everything out.
So my daughter's up in Canada, who they're probably watching on YouTube. Just a comment on fuel. We're sitting at $1.28 a liter or $5.12 a gallon. And so she says, you also can't hear you guys on the YouTube channel. We're getting the commercials. We can see you. The boys are watching you and love seeing you. But hi, boys, my grandsons. And I think everybody else can hear us, Sam, so that might be a Canadian thing. I don't know how YouTube works and whether that's we'll have to investigate that. So, in fact, sure. Sam, if you can investigate some of that for us, I know you listen on the Intune app. And so, yeah, so some of you that maybe are in foreign countries, and we've got some that are. There's an example. I've got family that's out of the country. If for some reason you're being blocked because we're a U.S. channel, which could happen, you may be able to see us and not hear us, because I can tell from looking that the sound's going out. Larry actually had his little his phone up a minute ago, his smartphone, and we were listening. So I know it's coming through and it's broadcasting. Some of you that are out of the country, you could listen to us simultaneously on the Intune app. Now, what I will say is all of the delays won't be the same.
Right.
In fact, those of you watching us on YouTube right now, you're going to be behind what you're hearing on the radio. YouTube has about a 7 to 8 second delay. Radio has about 3 to 4 seconds is all. And so some of you that are listening on an app, for example, and then maybe watching us, you're not going to see the lips. It's going to be like one of those movies in the old days where the Godzilla movies where the mouth moves and the sound comes out later. Yeah. This will be opposite. The sound will come out first and the mouse will move later. But anyways, we'd love to hear from you. Call us 303-477-5600. Oh, hang on. She was telling me we can hear and see you now, just not during the commercials.
Oh. Okay.
So Zach and I were talking about that a minute ago. So they can't hear us during commercials.
$5.12 a gallon?
$5.12 a gallon. That's in Canada.
Wow. Yeah. So are they taxed a little heavier too, also, or is it just supply and demand too?
I don't know, Samantha. If you can text us back and answer that would be great. Are you guys paying, $5.12 a gallon because of just the cost of fuel, or is it a taxation issue? And my gut feeling is, with the tar sands being right up there above where they are, I doubt if it's a supply and demand issue, because they're producing a lot of what even comes down here to the U.S. That's probably more of just what the market will bear, and the tax side of the fence.
Yeah.
So when we get these hybrids, are they more interested in Canada than they are here?
It's a great question, Samantha. If you could text us back and answer that, would be great. Are hybrids as big of a deal in Canada because of your fuel prices versus what we are today? That'd be interesting to know. Maybe I'm not sure, Randy. What are hybrid sales like outside of U.S.? Are they the strongest in the U.S., or does it pretty much equal across the country?
It's
across the world.
Across the world. We are the United States is Toyota's largest market right now.
Okay.
So we're a little bit, and it's close. I mean, we sell about 2 million cars and trucks per year here, close to 10 million, or right around 9.5 million worldwide. I think our goal this year is about 10.
Is that about 10% or something like that of total sales?
So we'd be about
20%.
20%.
Okay.
Yeah,
20%.
Okay.
Yeah.
And as far as hybrids, I think we're about equal with the rest of our percentage isn't any higher than anybody else's.
Okay.
But I think that might be a good segue into some of that new engine technology that
go right ahead. And
talking
while Randy's doing that, call us. Larry will get you set up. If any of you have questions, we'd love to chat with you. 303-477-5600. Yeah, let's talk about that.
I had actually a question.
Go ahead.
Well, what's the percent of the 10 million Toyota sells? What's the percentage are hybrid?
Oh, that's Okay.
Yeah,
that's what
it's about 15%.
It's 15% of so 1.5 million.
At least here in the United States.
The percentage would probably be less, obviously, in other countries that aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Set up for it.
Because you have, in certain countries, where like developing countries.
Yeah.
Because the cost of hybrids are higher, we certainly
just can't sell it.
Can't sell them.
The economy doesn't support it. Yeah.
Right. So you're going to see a different mix, around, for instance, in Brazil, where they use a lot. Everything's ethanol based down here.
Right.
Okay.
So we have to build products specific to that market and so on. But being a global company, we can do stuff like that, and you'll see stuff that we used to build here. For instance, our Avalon, our first generation Avalon, after we built it here, we sent all those presses and molds and everything and all that to other countries, and then it became their first generation while we were on our second or third generation Avalon, those kind of things. So from a developing country standpoint, we'll do stuff like that.
Why? I mean,
why not?
I don't want to. I don't want to sound stupid, but I guess why not? But on the same token, other people probably are asking. I'm sure there's some listening. If I've got this question, others do. Why? Because you can, or
from that we've already spent the development money on that.
Yeah,
so
recoup some of and put it towards for future.
So if we can, kind of the shell of the car is what we've already used, but we can put a newer engine in it.
Sure.
Those kind of
you've
things.
learned some things.
So we'll do that. But we've made some announcements recently that we've got a new engine family that's coming out, and you'll probably it's small engines. It's 1 liters and 1.3 liter 4-cylinders. So those will be in Europe and Japan first. Obviously, in Europe, there's much different fuel prices and emission standards and fuel economy standards. So even some of the stuff, like on our new Corolla, we've got the Valvematic engine, which we've used that in Europe for 6 or 7 years. Again, because the fuel, they need to squeeze as much money out of the fuel, those kind of things. Yeah. So the new engines that we have, it's we're going to and this is not new technology actually. It's called the Atkinson cycle engine.
Right.
So what that does is when the valves close on your compression stroke, they close while the piston's moving upwards. So you get a higher static compression ratio, but because you're not compressing it that whole way, it's much lower, so you can run regular fuel without having that detonation or knocking issue. And then you have a long expansion stroke. So engineering wise, you take a look at thermal efficiencies and all those kind of things. From an emission standpoint, there's benefits to that. I remember working as at a Nissan and Mazda dealership years ago, and Mazda used that engine in the Millennia. Actually, they
call it the Miller cycle.
Well, they combined it with a low pressure supercharger, and that became the Miller cycle engine. And we've used Atkinson cycle on our hybrids since they've gone on sale here, and we can combine those. So if we can squeeze more and more efficiency out of an internal combustion engine without having to add electric motors or turbochargers or anything. We use it with the variable valve timing system. We can manipulate it to work that way. Kind of that existing engine. There's still more in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is we're looking at thermal efficiencies only in the 37-38% range. And what that means is from the fuel that goes in, the heat that's created, only 37% of that is used to power the engine.
Right.
The rest goes to waste.
That was one of the comments we had yesterday talking about the hydrogen technology. It's up in the 80-85% range. So it's more than double what you're getting out of a regular 4-stroke engine.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to see that introduced over time. Those 1 liter and 1.3 liter engines are in small cars, our Yaris type cars that we sell here, which are extremely popular in Japan, and even smaller cars than that. They call them K cars in Japan, which are 1 liter or less.
Like a smart car size vehicle.
Smart car, the IQ.
Got it. Very cool, guys. Real quick, let's take one call before the break. So let's take Christian. We'll take you first. Dave, hang with us. We'll be right with you. So Christian up in Longmont, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I got a quick question. My uncle in Germany, he's got a 4-door sedan that has a diesel motor, and he gets over 60 miles to the gallon. And I have a 4Runner. I'd sure like to get a diesel motor in there, and for my family, a small 4-door sedan with a diesel motor. I just wonder why we don't have them here. I know in Germany they're very green, so I don't think that's the holdback. I just wonder what the holdback is here.
Great question.
It is a good question. We get that quite a bit. Worldwide, Diesels are very popular. Again, going back to that fuel economy situation. We've changed here in the United States. You probably remember Volkswagen had to stop selling diesels for about a year as we transitioned from the old fuel, or not fuel, but emission requirements.
Low sulfur,
diesel.
ultra low sulfur. It's now.
And now you're seeing a lot of vehicles that have, you know, they're calling them eco diesels or blue techs or what, you know, clean diesel, those kind of things. Worldwide, we have diesels. Here in the States, we don't. And I've never really gotten a
you want my honest opinion?
Clear answer on that,
Christian?
There's a government issue here.
But there's two things. This is John's opinion, so this, you know, you take this for what it's worth. Two things. One, to Ken's point, we do have higher standards, higher regulations, I guess I should say, when it comes to producing diesels, getting them approved emissions-wise, et cetera. Even though other countries are green, to your point, you know, Germany, et cetera, we still in this country have a higher standard when it comes to what can emit out of the tailpipe on a diesel than some of those other countries do. That's one thing. Second of all, I still think, and this is a perception even on the manufacturer side of the fence, I still think that the manufacturers feel there's still enough holdover from the old GM diesel days where people got burned buying diesel vehicles because they were just, technologically speaking, they just did not work. They were flat out, they were just junk. Sorry, they just worked. They didn't work. They were junk. They were a gasoline converted engine that converted into a diesel, and they just didn't work. And it soured a lot of people back in the day on buying diesel cars, especially. Now the truck's a whole different world, and we won't go there because that perception isn't there on that side. But on the car side of the fence, it's still there. And on top of it, the other perception, and to me, this is something that somebody outside of the industry can solve, is there's still a dirty perception behind diesel even at the fuel pump.
Sure.
And I'll give you that example. So, you know, when you go fill up your truck with diesel versus filling up with gasoline, I don't care what you do filling that up. Unless you're wearing a mitt of some kind, your hand smells like diesel.
Yeah.
It just does. So
it doesn't evaporate.
That's exactly right. It's heavier, it's oilier, etc., and it just stays on whatever it lands on. And so there's still, especially with some ladies, especially, etc., there's just this perception of stinky, nasty, I don't want to touch it, so I'm not going to buy a diesel. Now, there's ways around that, and we know how to do that, but Christian, that's just my opinion. Is I still think a lot of the manufacturers look at that and say, you know, we just can't, even if we meet all the regulations, which they can. You know, Chevy's got a new Cruise, Volkswagen's doing well, Audi, of course, which is also a Volkswagen product. Several companies are doing well with diesel, but I still think most of them haven't become mainstream because of some of the things we just mentioned. That's my 2 cents worth.
I just think if Corolla had a small diesel or the Civic had a small diesel, there'll be a line out the door waiting for those machines that made 50 miles to the gallon, something like that.
Actually, Honda had a diesel plan for the Accord a few years ago, and then when the economic downturn came out, they canceled that project. So, and I'll tell you, at Toyota, we are looking at every possible fuel type, whether it's diesel, biodiesel, fuels made out of algae. Right. You know, we don't know exactly what that magic bullet is for the next. I mean, obviously we're heavily invested in hydrogen, but as far as, you know, I get this question all the time, and the answer I'm getting is we're looking at everything. Right. Right. But there's no time to.
And Christian, I'm on your side. Randy can attest to this. I'm always bugging about, you know, when's the next diesel coming in a truck, whether it be, you know, Tundra, you know, Tacoma, etc. Because other manufacturers, you know, GM just announced in the Canyon pickups they're going to put a little small V6 diesel in that. Ford's got one planned for theirs. The Nissan Titan's going to have a 5-liter Cummins engine coming out in 2015. So other manufacturers are looking pretty heavily at it. And you know, my feeling, Christian, is it's just a matter of time before some of that stuff catches up. But again, I'm still one that thinks a lot of it is still, you know, perceived perception by the public. That's just in North America, not necessarily worldwide, but here in our country.
I think one other thing that we need to add in there is we need technicians to work on those vehicles, and
because they're not the same.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's been a national shortage of just regular technicians for gas engines, and we have dealerships in certain parts of our region that are heavily in the oil field areas and in the mining areas, and their diesel technicians that they've had for 15, 20, 30 years are getting picked off by these mining companies.
Because they're paying them a ton of money.
Yeah, they are. I mean, there's a huge need for that as well.
That's right. So, great comments, Christian. We do appreciate it very much. Great stuff. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. Good Easter. Let's take a quick break. Dave from Denver, hang on with us. You've got a comment on hybrids. We've got a couple of lines open. Give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. Love to chat. Anything you want to talk about, nothing's off the table. As you can tell, Randy's never bashful. He'll answer any questions. You know, even if you're getting a jab at Toyota, he'll take them. It's not a big deal. I mean, Toyota's big enough. They can hold their own. I'm not worried about it. He isn't either. So whatever questions you've got, comments, etc., we'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. I'm John Rush, your host. AM560 KLZ the Source.
We've all been there. You run to the hood and suddenly realize you don't have the parts you need. Or even worse, you don't know what parts you need. Well, at Napa Auto Parts, we have ASE certified parts specialists that'll make sure you find that right part. One covered by a warranty good at any one of 6,000 Napa locations. Yeah, finding the right part might not be easy, but fortunately, finding the right parts store is. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
K&N's premium oil filters are very different. They make oil changes easier. K&N's wrench-off oil filters have a 1-inch nut welded on the top, so you can easily change the filter with a wrench or ratchet. And used with a Ziploc freezer bag, you can even remove a K&N oil filter with no oil spillage at all. Another great product from K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
How much does it cost you to drive to work? Would you be surprised to know that if you have a car payment and drive 5 miles or more each way, you're spending at least $7.50 a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year? You're looking at about $2,000 a year. Wow. There are ways to cut that number in half, and we can help you to keep your money in your pocket at Cipher Automotive. I will perform a cost per mile analysis for your maintenance and to show you how to save as much as $8,500 per year by simply making your vehicle last longer. Call or click today, CipherAuto.com or 303-422-5261.
Gearheads is brought to you by your Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. And just what exactly is that? It's peace of mind, it's integrity, and the highest level of customer service. Your Colorado Select Auto Care Centers are setting the bar for excellence, which means you win every time. You get the Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty and automotive service that you can feel good about. Find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you at drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
Can't get enough? Visit the Gearheads website at gearheadradio.com. You can email, download podcasts of shows, and find lots of other useful information at gearheadradio.com.
All right, thanks for listening. We appreciate it very much. Happy Easter weekend to you. And it's a little gray outside, but don't let that get in the way of getting outside. It's very nice out. I've got my son cutting the grass today, which I think is our second time cutting the grass. So I'm a grass farmer, some of my friends call me. So I like green grass, and it'll be nice and green here within the next it's pretty close right now. I've got a few little brown spots here and there from the winter, the dead winter grass, but it's just about gone. So things are greening up. I noticed as I was on my way down, some of the trees are blossoming out, and there's nice green buds, and it won't be long, guys, before we start looking out here to the west, and everything will be nice and green and lush and
leafed and
it'll be really nice. So anyways, give us a call. We'd love to chat with you. 303-477-5600. We got a few more things to talk about with Randy on engine design, but let's get to Dave real quick. He's got a comment on hybrids. Dave, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, I heard your comment. You were asking about hybrid sales in Canada, but I was thinking if I'm in Canada, I can buy a Mercedes B-Class or other manufacturers' B-Class cars that are probably getting the same mileage as a hybrid, so I don't have to pay the hybrid premium, and I'm getting the same kind of mileage. But we don't see those cars down here in the States. Or we didn't. We're starting to, but I mean, you can get a 320 BMW 320 diesel in Europe, but they're not bringing those over yet.
Right.
Right, but keep in mind on a diesel, let's use the Jeep Grand Cherokee with the EcoDiesel as an example. That diesel engine is a $4,500 option.
Right.
And then when you go to the pump, you're paying how much more?
About 40 cents a gallon more right now.
So that's about a 10-15% premium on fuel. So is that going to balance out?
That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, and you guys were just talking about diesels with the guy from Longmont, and you're right. I mean, that diesel, premium. You look at the price you got to pay for the diesel engine, and you can get into the Prius and you save money there. But as they, if we start getting more of some of the 3-cylinders with the higher miles per gallon, you'll be able to see that. And you see a lot of those cars overseas, so that I would think that might slow down some of those hybrid sales overseas versus here.
And some of it, and we'll talk more about this through the show, Dave. Some of the advancements that have been made on the 4-stroke gasoline engine. They're doing some things with it that almost mimic what's going on in a diesel without having to actually be a diesel with the diesel fuel and so on. And what I mean by that is, to Randy's point, compression ratio changes. Ken was just talking through the break about direct injection, which of course has been on, diesels for quite some time. And so you're starting to see some of the diesel technology come over onto the gas side. But diesels aren't going to go away either. To your point, you're going to see a mix. In fact, I think you're going to see 4 products in the very near future. You're going to have hybrid, actually 5. You're going to have a total plug-in vehicle. You're going to have hybrids, which is a combination of gas engine and a battery system, etc. You're going to have diesels. You're going to have gas, high efficiency gas engines, and then you're also going to have hydrogen vehicles when it's all said. So here in the very near future, you're going to have 5 choices. Which, think about in the old days when it came to most cars, you had one choice, maybe different engine configurations in that gasoline engine, but it was still all a gasoline engine because there wasn't even a diesel option. Right. And even for a long time, unless you were into a really big truck, there wasn't even a diesel option on trucks. So back in the old days,
especially that was worth
early 70s, you had gasoline engines only. So we've gone from the 70s to today, and now have 5 different options for how you get the wheel turning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they want to get to that 54 cafe number, they're going to have to come out with a lot of options.
Yep.
So one question for Toyota: when are they going to put a hybrid configuration in the Sienna so I can drive my minivan and get better mileage?
That's a good question.
Another question we get quite often. Sienna is a couple years away from a redesign. The current chassis won't accommodate the
battery pack and all that stuff.
Yeah, the hybrid configuration. We do have a minivan that is on sale in Japan that's a hybrid, but unfortunately it's much narrower and smaller than here. And I was going to mention earlier, you said 3 cylinders and those kind of things. Unfortunately, here in the States we like our power.
Right.
Well, especially in Colorado.
Yeah.
Especially here.
Altitude.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that minivan we have, it's called the Estima in other markets worldwide. It's a hybrid, but it just wouldn't meet our needs or our customers' demands here because we want more space and those kind of things. So, a lot of that, some of that is just definitely changing our preferences and our habits here in the United States. Even to the diesel point, I've got a friend who she drives a BMW X5 with the diesel, and she's pulled into gas stations before that she used to go to all the time, and
there's no diesel there.
There's no diesel.
Yeah,
really. Right.
So
even in that, you have to change some habits.
Right.
No doubt about that. No, great point. Great questions, by the way, Dave.
I still like the Audi commercial where everybody's screaming, "Don't put it in."
Right.
That's one of my favorite.
My wife had that happen to her once. We had a diesel Grand Cherokee back in 07, the first series of diesel Grand Cherokees, and she was at a pump one day, and there was a bunch of landscape guys around, etc. It was just like the commercial. She pulls up, goes and puts diesel in it. Some guy comes running over, ma'am, you can't put diesel in this car, and this, that, and she's like, no, I can. So she walked around the back, see the little sign, it's diesel, I'm okay, it's no problem. But anyways, it was kind of funny because I'm sure that Audi, that wasn't an original idea. That's happened to somebody else.
Sure.
So.
Right. Yeah, well, and I driving my truck, that's the only diesel we have, and I was pulling into the gas station. I grabbed it, I had it in the tank, and I smell gasoline. Uh-oh. I never squeezed the trigger. I was like, okay, hung it back up, grabbed the diesel. Okay.
Yeah. Because it happens.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Right. It happens.
Yeah.
That's the problem. You have those different, They're different nozzle sizes, but
you can put gas and diesel. You can't do diesel and gas, but you can go the other way.
Oh, the opposite
That's right.
way.
How many of us have gotten a customer come in?
Yes.
Yeah, have
the
to
full
drain-
tank of gas.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Anyways, Dave, appreciate the phone call. Let's take some more calls. 303-477-5600. Coming up on a break. We've got lines open. Call us. We'll get you right on air again. We'll talk about anything. We do want to get into CVT transmissions, some of the other technology that Toyota's got coming out. We'll finish up on that. We didn't get through all of that with Randy, so we'll do that as soon as we come back. But again, Randy Hunt, Ken Rackley, Steve from Geno's, and I'm John Rush, your host. We'll be back right after these messages on KLZ 560 The Source.
Do you have the need for speed?
If so, Extreme Auto Repair is the place for you. Extreme Auto Repair specializes in vehicle restoration and performance enhancements that'll get you where you need to go with speed and style. With their knowledgeable staff and professional service, they can answer any questions you have to get your vehicle running the way you've always dreamed it could. Extreme Auto Repair in Parker. Give your vehicle the attention it deserves. Mention this ad to receive $25 off any service or repair at Extreme Auto Repair in Parker.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in Boulder? At John's 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From big trucks to diesel pickups, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to John's 4x4. Located on Arapahoe Road, just east of 63rd, behind Carpet 1. They're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at John's 4x4 Center are committed to providing the personal and professional service you're looking for. Give them a call at 303-449-2640. Check them out on the web or follow them on Facebook at johns4x4.com.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Now, back to Gearheads on The Source, AM560 KLZ.
All right, we're back. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. 303-477-5600. One call coming in that Larry's queuing up that he must have answered off air. So give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. I'd love to chat with you. And we were talking through the break. Some of you watching us on YouTube can probably see us chatting and doing different things. And we talk about different segments and kind of recap and kind of add things that, we're not afraid to talk about on air. So once we get the mics working, you'll be able to hear us. But one thing we were just talking about when it comes to new technologies and why don't certain manufacturers do certain things. And while nobody ever wants to talk about this, there are still those in every organization, be it small business to large business, There are what they are called bean counters in every organization. And at the end of the day, not everything is run by the marketing department or by the sales department. In fact, 9 times out of 10, it's run by the bean counting department. So if the bean counters look at something and they're not quite sure it's going to pay off and it's pretty risky, chances are it's probably not going to happen. Right, guys?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can go onto blogs, whether it's, Autoblog or Car and Driver, Motor Trend, or, one specific to Toyota Tundra or Honda Accord or whatever, and you'll see, hey, if they had this, it'd be great. We'd all buy one. Well, you're talking pretty small numbers.
You're right. Exactly.
Even if everybody on that blog bought one, it's still not a high number.
Yeah, so it has to make financial sense for a company. And, the amount of engineering resources and testing, if you put a new engine in a vehicle and that changes the weight of the vehicle, how does that affect fuel economy and crash test standards and those kind of things, and
emissions, everything else. Yeah.
And every one of those configurations has to be tested. Whether it's the California Air Resources Board or EPA or NHTSA, or there's so many regulatory agencies that are involved in that kind of stuff. It's not just throw it. Not like the old days when you could buy,
take this, put it in that, and call it good.
You could get a Plymouth Cuda with everything from a slant 6 to
a Hemi
to 4 different V8 engines.
Right. Yeah, no, those days are gone. And again, to Randy's point, a lot of it is, and again, the bean counters are looking at what's this going to cost us to get it approved and tested and all these different things. And there's just so much more that goes into making a car than just saying, well, hey, why don't you take the engine out of X and put it in X? That question, for example, when I was owning the shops and years ago, we were doing a bunch of Hemi conversions on the Jeep Wranglers, and that was always a question. Well, why doesn't Jeep just put a Hemi in it from the beginning? Well, the market is probably not strong enough to actually justify the expense of everything it would take to make that happen. And then also, keep this in mind too. You put a Hemi engine in it, depending upon what fuel mileage is, it may actually hurt some of the CAFE ratings.
Right.
So all those things come into play. Trust me.
Power to weight ratios and front heavy,
safety, everything
exactly,
comes into play. And so it's not as easy as everybody makes it sound. While it may be easy in the aftermarket, and thankfully there is the aftermarket that can come in and change some of these things, add different things, put cold air intakes on, put superchargers on, do suspension upgrades, tire and wheels, brake. There's all sorts of things in the aftermarket. And by the way, that's never going away. Because of everything we just talked about, the manufacturer cannot build, even though Toyota gets boutique enough with the TRDs, they still can't build a truck that's exactly unique to the way you want it.
Right.
It's impossible.
Yeah,
They're building for a mass market. They're not building for John Rush.
Right.
So, what John has to do then is say, great, I want a TRD, but you know what? I want a little different wheel. Or I want to add some pinstripes. Or I want to do a hard bed cover, but I want it painted to match the truck. Or I want, I can go down the list.
Everybody wants to customize it their own way.
Correct.
Right, exactly.
And in America, thankfully, that hasn't become unified. And honestly, I love that. I love the fact that here in America, we don't want to just drive the same vehicle everybody else drives. That's what makes America so great. We have the freedom to do whatever we want to do when it comes to driving that car within, legal limitations, et cetera. And I get that. you don't want a guy driving around with a truck that's got no fenders and 80-inch tall tires. No, within limitations, you can pretty much do what you want to do with a vehicle as long as it keeps the vehicle safe and so on. So, at any rate, great topics. Would love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Give us a call. Randy, finish up. I know we were talking about new engine technology, the Atkinson engine, et cetera. We didn't get all of that handled. Finish that up for us in these last few minutes of this first hour.
So we're actually working on, besides that type of engine technology, the Atkinson cycle, we have a huge engine, actually complete chassis program that we're working on worldwide. So you're going to see in the next few years pretty remarkable things from us. You will start to see stuff like turbochargers and direct injection, and some of that's driven by the regulations that we have to meet on a worldwide basis. And some of it's, hey, we need to have, if you take a look at the market, there's other companies that have those fun, sporty, powerful cars, and we want to be part of that as well. But we also, fuel economy, power, lower emissions. That's our 3 main focuses, is how do we get all 3 of those at the same time. And it's going to be stuff like direct injection, which we have on our Lexus vehicles, or most of them. We're adding, the Scion FRS, which is a joint venture with Subaru. That's got a direct injection system. It's Subaru's Boxer engine, but Toyota's fuel injection system. It works pretty well.
Right.
So you're going to see more of that kind of stuff as we need to get those, as we go towards that 54.5 mile per gallon mandate by 2025, I think.
2025, that's right.
And there's a couple triggers. It's not all at once, but I think 2017 is one of the big years where it starts to affect.
Which, by the way, is not that far away.
No, and from a development standpoint,
you have to be there now.
We're testing that stuff now.
That's right.
To make sure it works. So
because then you've got to get it out into the field, do some real world testing, make sure that it's stable.
Yeah, exactly.
And one thing, and I will say, and it's not just because Randy's here, but I'll give Toyota a kudo on this. For years and years and years, and even to this point today, Toyota is a staple product. What do I mean by that? It's safe, it's reliable. It may not be the flashiest thing on the road, but you know what? You're going to get in it, start it, drive it, get to and from where you want to go, and it'll be a safe vehicle, reliable, great transportation, no worries, and that's partly what Toyota's built, the company off of. I will also tell you, though, that they've kind of changed that a little bit and realized that, you know what? A regular plain old Camry just probably isn't cutting it anymore. So they just went through a real big redesign of Camry to make some of those quote-unquote flashy changes to make that car more mainstream, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday at the New York Auto Show, we unveiled the next Toyota Camry, the 2015, which will go on sale this fall. We just redesigned Camry in the fall of launched it the fall of 2011. So here we are, just 3 short years later, and we have a completely new body, some interior refinements. We're seeing more demand for that sporty version, the SE model. So we not only have that for the next generation, we'll have that in a hybrid, which actually we have a 2014 and a half, a special edition hybrid with that sporty body.
Very cool.
With the
which,
hybrid.
by the way, is a great car. Yeah, I'll put a plug in real fast for the Camry Hybrid. One of the best values across the board on the market today. For what you get in fuel economy, what it costs you in additional money, which isn't much, it's a fantastic value.
Yeah, I think it's about a $1,500 difference between a regular, and you get 40 miles per gallon.
That's right.
Combined.
And you're going to get 26 to 28 in a regular Camry. So it's a huge increase. It's I did the math. It pays off very fast.
Yeah. So the new Camry that's coming out, pictures are online. You can find them anywhere. Just Google 2015 Camry. It looks completely different again. And it's
got more lines to it. They've just done some things to, kind of get rid of the rounded look. And I had this question a while back from, I don't remember who. I was out someplace and somebody said, John, you're a car guy. How come everything kind of looks the same? And I said, well, in defense of the manufacturers, when everything is designed in a wind tunnel for aerodynamics, well, the reality is there's only so much you're going to get when you're in a wind tunnel because it's the same wind tunnel. Air is air.
Right. Yeah.
That's not changing, with manufacturer to manufacturer. So why do so many look so similar? Because that's what drag coefficient, that's what they have to do to get the drag coefficient down to get the fuel mileage up. So now, can they add different body lines here and there and make a few changes and so on? Yes, and you're starting to see some differentiation that way. Front ends, grills, lighting, things like that. That's kind of separating them. But I hope that we get more into that to where they quit looking so vanilla-ish.
Yeah. Part of that is also all the mandated safety equipment, so the 5 mile per hour bumpers and the pedestrian safety and the crumple zones, those kind of things. Engineering demands.
There's only so much you can do.
Yeah, that it happens. But we're also seeing more things like LED headlamps, which we can make those enclosures smaller, which gives us more flexibility from the body lines, those kinds of things. Same thing with the taillights.
Right.
As long as we, and from a taillight standpoint, you have to be able to measure the lumens from a certain distance, and there's tons of regulations that, for a long time here in the United States, if you guys remember the old headlamps, right? There were the square ones or the round ones. The reason why we couldn't have stuff that they had in Europe was because the Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard required that type of headlamp.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that's
that.
why back in the 70s and 80s, all the front ends,
everything looked the same.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
We had to have those 2 square headlamps on each side.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Guys, with that, we got to take a quick break. Going to go to the news. Those of you that are watching us on YouTube, don't go away. You won't hear anything for about 4 minutes. We're going to take a quick bathroom break, which I'll just be honest, that's what we do here. So those of you on YouTube, hang with us. Those of you that are out there listening on air, call us. We have lines open. We'd love to chat with you. We come back. We're going to talk about CVT transmissions. And in the second hour, or the third hour, I should say, we're going to talk about fuel-saving devices and do they really work? Because there's a lot of misconception, I think, on that, too. So we'll talk about that when we come back. This is John Rush, your host, AM560 KLZ, The Source.
You still haven't had enough of Gearheads? Go to GearheadRadio.com. Email your questions and comments, download podcasts of previous shows, and find lots of other useful information. It's GearheadRadio.com. Thanks for listening to KLZ AM560, The Source.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for the highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Hi, I'm Jervis DeChico, partner and financial advisor at the Spectrum Planning Group and host of The Wealth Map. Tune in to The Wealth Map every Sunday from 2 to 3 p.m. right here on KLZ 560 to learn how you can navigate risk and opportunity like a pro and map a course to your financial goals. Registered with and offers securities through Kovac Securities, advisory services through Kovac Advisors. The Spectrum Planning Group not affiliated with Kovac Securities or Kovac Advisors.
This is the legendary KLZ, AM560 KLZ HD Denver, and online streaming at 560thesource.com since 1922. KLZ Denver.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James. Another rally at the Bundy Ranch in Nevada as a show of support for the cattle rancher Cliven Bundy and his rights to land for cattle grazing. The dispute between the rancher and the feds. Specifically, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid continues. The Blaze Radio's Chris Vermillion has more.
Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid saying those that are supporting Cliven Bundy and his family, they're not patriots, they're terrorists.
These people who hold themselves out to be patriots are not. They're nothing more than domestic terrorists.
The Blaze's Dana Lash responding to Megyn Kelly on Fox News.
For Harry Reid to do this, it's reckless. He's trying to incite something. I get the impression, Megan, that he is unhappy with the peaceful resolution and outcome that took place last weekend. And so I have to question why, in this era of new tone, he's using this, what I call violent rhetoric.
I'm Chris Vermillion, The Blaze News.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
In the year 1791, Americans were guaranteed individual freedoms and a limited government. Today, those freedoms are disappearing. The government listens to your phone calls and scans your emails. That's why we've created 1791 Email. When you sign up for an account, you can rest assured that we won't invade your inbox or scan your emails. And with your 1791 Email account, you'll be letting everyone know that you believe in individual freedom. Find out more about 1791 Email at 1791.com and start sharing the spirit of America today.
You love The Blaze. You watch it, you listen to it, you blog it, and you surf it. Now you can read it in print. Go to theblazemagazine.com and sign up today, and we'll give you an issue absolutely free. Get 10 issues filled with exclusive content delivered directly to your home. All you have to do is go to theblazemagazine.com on your computer, sign up, and we'll give you a free issue. This offer is limited, so go to theblazemagazine.com now.
The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560 The Source.
This is Drive Radio, Colorado's most respected, most listened to auto repair show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
Drive Radio is a production of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers.
This is the new Wagon Queen family truckster. This is a fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
And now, my friend, the first rule of Italian driving. What's behind me is not important.
ASE certified master mechanics Donnie Cipher and John Rush are standing by to answer your questions. No matter how simple or technical, these are the guys you need to talk to.
Now, here are your hosts, Donnie Cipher and John Rush with Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source and 560thesource.com.
All right, happy Easter, everybody. Appreciate you all listening. Had a great first hour and 2 more hours left. Continue to listen to us. As I stated earlier, and I should have said this throughout the rest of the show, some people tune in, well after we get started. We're now on YouTube. You can actually watch us live. So some of you that always wonder, well, what does so-and-so look like? Or, who's that? Who's got that ugly mug? You can actually go online, go to YouTube, and just go to the search bar inside of YouTube. You don't have to have a subscription. You don't have to have anything special, no cost, etc. Just go to YouTube, go into the search bar, and type in Drive Radio, all one word, and you'll see our channel there. You'll see our live broadcast today. You can also go to our channel and find a bunch of the reviews that we've done on vehicles. We did an interview with Randy at the auto show I'll have up tomorrow. Multiple things that we do, and we're going to continue to use video. It's something that that we realize that we're probably behind the times in doing, and honestly, the biggest reason is it takes time, and it takes a lot of time, and that's the one thing video is that's even different than this show. This show, you can kind of prep for it, you get everything ready to go, make a few phone calls during the week, get all your stuff done, your notes ready to go, you come down, you show up, you do it, and it's done. Video is a little different than that. There's a little more prepping that has to go on. Sometimes the first take didn't work real well, so you got to go back and do it again, and you got to edit it, and there's just a lot more time consumption when it comes to video than there is doing even radio. And radio is bad enough. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a walk in the park either, but it takes time. So
and had I known we were going to be on the camera, I would have showered. I would have,
They can't smell you, can.
Dressed appropriately.
We can, but we can, but they can't.
Yeah. So offensive. Yeah. Well, at least you can't see.
That's good stuff. And by the way, appreciate these guys coming out. Randy Hunt, who's to my left. If you guys are watching on YouTube, he's to my left. He's from Toyota. Ken Rackley over here in the corner. He's from TuneTech out in Aurora, and Steve from Geno's. Steve Horvath from Geno's. He does a great job for us over in the Littleton area. Appreciate both these guys. They do a fantastic job, and as I said earlier, if you like what we do, you like the show itself, the best way to support us, honestly, best way, is either buy parts from Napa, buy stuff from K&N, and go visit our Colorado Select Auto Care Centers, and you can find them at coloradoselect.com. That's the best way to support our show. So first hour, we talked about some of the new technology that Toyota's got, some of the new vehicles they've got coming out. We talked diesels. We talked some of the new four-stroke engine designs. Hour 2, we'll continue on with some of that. We're going to talk about CVT transmissions, which is also kind of part of that mix, and how some of the fuel economy standards are raising. And then the next hour, I want to talk about fuel additives and do they really actually save money. Now, I say all of that to say this. Don't let those topics bother you. You don't have to call in about one of those topics. You can call in with anything you want to ask. I sometimes feel like we get on topics and everybody kind of feels like it has to be topically driven. We are not one of those shows. You can call in anytime during the 3 hours. Send us an email, john@drive-radio.com. We'll answer any question. We say it a lot, and I'll continue to do so. There's no dumb question. Right, guys?
That's right.
If you don't know the answer, it's a great question because chances are you're not the only one out there with that question. So ask it, call in. You're helping us with the show. You're helping support other listeners when you ask that question. So don't ever feel like you're asking a dumb question because there's no such thing. Call us. We'll answer it. We've never, ever, ever thrown somebody under the bus for one of the questions that they've asked or made fun of you for the question you asked because they're always great questions. Again, because if you're thinking of it, so is somebody else. And just because you don't know the answer doesn't mean it's a dumb question. In some cases, it's just, vehicles have changed a lot in the last 15 years, but even the last 5.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of significant changes in the industry. So you may not understand something. That's fine.
And where normal consumers don't see that change. That's where right. We do, that's just right. Because they see the steering wheel, the paint, the the wheels, everything like that still looks the same. Right. But boy, under the hood is way different.
That's exactly right. Great point. And Randy was talking about lighting through the news. Again, we'll get into some of that as we get into this hour. We've got 2 calls up. One line is open, 303-477-5600. Let's go right to Wally, who's up next. Wally, welcome. What's going on today?
I'm washing my Toyota.
Well, good for you.
I called in a couple weeks ago about a problem with a BMW Mini Cooper that my son had bought that got fried.
Yes. I remember that call.
Well, long story short, right in the warranty, and I knew it would be there someplace, they excluded any damage due to overheating. They'll pay for the thermostat that caused the engine to get fried, but they won't pay for anything else.
Really?
So you'd only had the car 3 months, so the way we're getting our money back is we're canceling the warranty.
Yeah.
So get a little bit of proration out of it. But
yeah, you get a little bit out of that, so at least that helps ease the burden a little bit. So basically, at this point, it's your dime.
Yeah, and we're not going to fix it. So if you guys have any Shade Tree mechanics out there that'd be interested in an 07 Mini Cooper that needs a motor.
You know what? Here's what I would advise you on that, Wally, and we occasionally do. Before you do a Craigslist ad and go through all of that, between all of ourselves, the brokers that we deal with, etc., send me an email. So go to drive-radio.com. Just go on the contact page, send me an email, or just go to john@drive-radio.com. Send me some pictures, etc. I'll filter those around to some guys. Yeah, there may be somebody that would be very interested in doing that, fixing it. You know, it's one of those things that somebody's going to have to want to fix it, drive it for a while, because you're not going to fix it, flip it, and make any money. So it's going to have to be something somebody wants to drive. But you know what? There's some folks out there that would be interested in that.
Yeah, I'm not interested in tackling that. So,
yeah.
And what we ended up doing was I went out and bought him a 2000 Solara this week.
Oh, okay, good for you. Perfect.
So,
yeah, that's a great car. That's a great little car. Yeah, that'll work really well for him. Good for you.
So, that's it.
Well, I appreciate the phone call,
really
and again, we'll do our best to help you move that car, and I'm sure we can, Wally. Just send me an email, john@drive-radio.com. We'll get you taken care of. Have a great afternoon. Have fun washing the car. It's actually pretty warm out, so you look outside and say, "Really, washing his car?" It's actually pretty nice out. It looks a lot. It looks a lot colder than it actually is, right, guys?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was out 7:30 this morning, and it was great. I mean,
I envy Ken. He's always up exercising, running, doing all these things that I wish I could be that ambitious that early in the morning. Ken's a great guy to do that. I don't know how he does it.
When the weather's nice, it's a lot easier. And
it is nicer when you're right. It's easier when the weather's nice.
One of the neighbors called and said, "Hey, you want to head out?" I got to be back by 8:30. Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
That's
good for you.
Did you see that Solara that went underneath the bus?
Oh, yesterday.
Wasn't it a Toyota Solara? Wasn't it?
I did.
Yes. Saw that. Where was that at?
Eastern Colorado.
Rear-ended out. Yeah, just like a school bus was
looks like
stopped.
a rear-end went underneath the bus, but she lived and all. So I mean,
took the top off the car. I mean, it was.
You could tell it was Solara only by the bumper.
Right.
And lifted the rear wheels off the bus. I mean, they were the pictures they got. Yeah,
Didn't see
just
that.
Shaved off the whole.
Wow,
thing.
interesting. All right, we'll take another call. 303-477-5600. Love to hear from you. Again, we're on YouTube. You can watch us live, listen to us, see us. And by the way, those will be there in the future, so I'll still do podcasts, but if you want to watch one of these episodes, you'll be able to actually do it, watch it, hear us. That'll be an easy thing to do. You just go to YouTube, click it, go to our channel. It'll be there. These will all be, archived, recorded, and again, we're going to do our best to do this each and every week. Those of you that are watching, you can see that our camera quality is not superb. We'll do our best to kind of improve that. I went the cheap way at first just to kind of figure out how this would work.
Well, they're lucky that quality.
That's true.
I really don't mind it.
Yeah, right.
I don't care.
Exactly.
Good stuff. All right, line open.
It does add 10 pounds, though.
It does. 303-477-5600. Let's go to John in Longmont, who's got a 64 Buick Wildcat, a car that I actually grew up driving. So that's actually a really fun car, John. What's going on?
Hey guys, first of all, I got to say I'm pleased to have found your show this morning. I didn't know you guys were even in existence.
Well, thank you.
Great.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
I thought I was going to be listening to some kind of vitamin nonsense.
No, we do, and we've done just so you and everybody else listening, may or may not know this, but yeah, John, we've done this for 18 plus years. We're the longest running automotive talk show in the Denver market, and we're here every Saturday, 10 to 1, without fail.
Heck yeah, well, that's good to know.
Well, thank you.
Well, back to the Wildcat. Now, this was my dad's car.
Okay.
He passed away, and it is now mine. It's got 53,000 miles on it. It's in wonderful condition.
Great.
I just decided to take the motor apart, freshen it all up, make it look better than new.
Okay.
I put a hot cam in it, and lifters and push rods and springs and all the goods. Now, I know the Nailhead is notorious for its small exhaust valves and ports, and it's very tricky to do head work on these things because you don't want to run into the water jackets. They're really close. So I just left that alone. But my question is ultimately, would it be advantageous for me to, and this is a cheapo build, I'm not sinking a bunch of money into it, but would it be advantageous for me to invest in a fuel injection system for this thing to get what I can get power-wise out of that motor, or am I better off,
Is it a single 4-barrel engine, or is it a dual quad?
It is a single, yes, and I've got 2 brand new Edelbrock 500s.
If it were me, just for the nostalgic purposes and the cool factor, if you could round up through swap meets or online or whatever, if you could find the original dual quad setup for that car and run that instead of the single carburetor you have now, not only would it run a lot better. The one I used to drive, we had one as a family. The one we used to drive had dual quads, and that car was so fun to drive, and it was a blast. Didn't get very good mileage, but it was just a blast. The cool factor was so big.
Yeah. Well, that's why I bought those 2 Edelbrock carburetors.
There you go.
And it's hard to get the original intake manifold, the dual.
Right.
But not eggy, but
it's not impossible. But if it were me, I would go that direction more so than trying to run fuel injection and do all of that. Again, just to kind of keep the nostalgic side of it up for the car and the fun factor and so on. And even tunability wise, I think I'd run the dual quads.
Really? Okay.
And it's just because it's a fun car to own when you do it that way.
Oh, it really is.
It really,
Man,
yeah.
What a powerhouse that motor is from the factory to begin.
Yeah, it works really well.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Well, thanks, fellas. I appreciate your
You're very
time.
welcome, John. Appreciate you listening. And, yeah, we've got a lot of experience from old cars to new. And you can tell by some of us, especially on YouTube, you can look at our age now and realize that, some of us have been doing this for a few years, a lot of years in some cases. Now, I'm not, I was in 64 is when I was born. So, I kind of grew up with those types of cars, if you would, because, when I was 7, 8 years old, those cars weren't that old, and so that was pretty much what we rode around in. And, we didn't even have seat belts in the early days, so, we didn't have car seats, seat belts, padded dashes. You know what? Somehow we all lived. Amazingly enough, we ate lead paint and, whatever. Somehow we all managed to live through all of that.
Rode bikes without helmets.
Yeah, exactly. Rode bikes without helmets, and, did all sorts of things, and somehow we made it and we survived. But, yeah, as far as our show goes, John, we love what we do. This show is brought to you by K&N Engineering, who does all the filtration systems for every car really that's out there. They've got a filter or a cold air intake that you can put on. Napa Auto Parts is one of our great sponsors. And Colorado Select Auto Care Centers, then you can find any one of those centers near you. We've even got some guys up in Longmont at coloradoselect.com. So let's go to Eric, who's up next. Eric, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. Hey, Randy made a comment there before the end of the last hour about, the headlights. The old-style headlights and not meeting European standards. And, for a while there in the mid to late 80s, you could buy Hellas that were European imports.
Right. Yep, sold a lot of those.
Yeah, and they were great. I mean,
they were technically not DOT approved, but I sold a gazillion of them.
Oh, yeah, believe me, I had them on several vehicles.
That was the only way to make a car in the old days really light up properly.
And you being the four-wheel drive guy know that if you did, there was, four-wheeler and whatnot, published an article on how to even get better brightness out of them.
Yep. Yeah, you could change the bulbs and put relays in and do all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, there was the relay setup.
Yep.
And I'm curious as to why it is that the U.S. safety standards don't meet the European and some of the other standards. I mean, the TUV standards are tighter than U.S. spec, yet they're better.
I can't answer that. Randy, can you help with that at all?
Honestly, I don't know why, we have different things here.
Just because we want to be our own, or what?
Yeah, it's...
But there's so much, I'm coming from an Audi to a Buick, and believe me, I love my wife's Buick that we just bought. But it's like, when I look at things on this car, that GM is, let's say, 10 years behind.
Mm-hmm.
Even on a Cadillac, there's stuff that GM is 10 years behind where Audi, BMW, and Mercedes.
You're right. I mean, I see that driving these cars on a regular basis, and you see a difference between American cars, Japanese-made cars, and even the German cars, and even going as far as talking about the Lexus high-end cars versus the German high-end cars. You could blindfold me, put me in a high-end Japanese car, blindfold me and put me in a high-end German car, and I could tell you the difference. Now, not saying one's better than the other. There's just a difference there, and so you're 100% correct.
Yeah, there's a difference in feel, in the way they ride,
the way they drive, the way they ride, handle, everything.
And as far as the regulation aspect of it, why we have different regulations, obviously that's a pretty political conversation, and we have a lot of antiquated laws on our books. I mean, it does not just automotive stuff, but there's, you could go to any municipality and find something. Why is this on the books? It's the way we've always done it.
Right. Yeah.
So
clean it up. Well, that's.
Well, and the other thing, because the other part of it, you guys brought up earlier, like California Air Resources Board, which.
Which drives a lot of people crazy, but then it also drives a lot of what happens coast to coast.
Right.
Well, and it's me working in the trucking industry. It ruined a lot of stuff therein too.
Yes.
I mean, I know that's part of why Toyota and everybody else can't really bring the small diesels here.
That's part of it. Again, we talked about that earlier. Part of that is the regulations that we have on diesels that aren't in other parts of the world, even though the other countries are quote unquote, in fact, some cases greener. I mean, no offense, some countries do a better job of recycling their trash, etc., than we do here, and yet we have tighter standards when it comes to what's coming out of the tailpipe on a diesel engine than they do. So some of that, to me, just I don't get it. But I will say this too, real quick. I also want to make sure that I don't want a worldwide standard of anything.
Yeah, you're right.
Because now it enters into a whole nother political realm that I don't want to go down that path. So I'm fine with having our own, but to your point, Russ, if some of the easy things could be standardized to even make it cheaper and easier for a manufacturer to build a car that works everywhere, you know what, I'd be okay with that.
Well, when you look at with the small diesels, I mean, you look at Dodge now putting the diesel in the half-ton. And I was at the dealer the other day, and he says, I don't have any. He says, as soon as I get them in, they go off the door.
They pre-sold. I saw this on a press release that came out from Chrysler. They actually pre-sold every 3-liter diesel pickup built. It was already spoken for before they even started the assembly lineup.
Yeah, and and I guess GM's kind of sort of, once people figure it out with the Cruise, the Cruise diesel, they're going to end up with the same.
Yep, that's exactly right. I agree. Yep.
I just find it so strange with some of this stuff. There seems to be no rhyme or reason.
Nope, you're right. Hey, with that, sorry, Eric, we're 5 minutes over on a break, but appreciate you calling in, listening. I know Eric's a faithful listener. Thanks so much for that. We do appreciate it. One line open, 303-477-5600. Zach, take us to a break. I know I'm over. We'll catch up here as we go through the show. Again, give us a call, 303-477-5600. John Rush, your host, 560 The Source, Drive Radio.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at ginosautoservice.com. That's ginosautoservice.com.
Your car performs better when things are simple, and it's easy to see how the maze of plumbing under the hood can slow it down. A K&N air take system replaces the maze with a single custom engineered tube. The result? A guaranteed increase in horsepower, a dramatic increase you can actually feel. Visit K&N website to look up the extra horsepower available for your vehicle. K&N, an American manufacturer since 1969.
Ah, summer. A time of fun, sun, high temperatures, and the ultimate family road trip. Before embarking on the ultimate family adventure, bring your vehicle over to Fort Collins 4x4 Center for a little TLC. Our summer maintenance inspection includes pressure testing your air conditioning system, checking your coolant levels and tire pressure, testing your battery, inspecting your hoses and belts for cracks, cuts, and bulges, testing your transmission, power steering, and brake fluids. Having your vehicle inspected before a long road trip can keep you on the road, not stuck beside it during your vacation. Fort Collins 4x4 is under new ownership as of January 2014. Stop by and see what's new. Located a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue and Hemlock, we are open to serve you Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30 p.m. with shuttle service and after-hours drop. Give us a call at 970-482-5500. Follow us on Facebook or check us out at FortCollins4x4.com.
Most dealerships offer a standard 1-year, 12,000-mile warranty on repairs. Get your car fixed by a Colorado Select Auto Care Center, and they will triple that warranty. 3 years, 36,000 miles on every repair, which is roughly 1.5 trips around the planet. Now, maybe you're not planning a trip like that, but every time you get in your car, you should expect it to get you where you're going. Find the Colorado Select Auto Care Center nearest you at coloradoselect.org. Around the world and back, coloradoselect.org.
All right, thanks for tuning in. We did have a caller that called in, and Larry handed me this note a minute ago. Mike asked on a this is for a Randy question, but I'll answer it. 2014 Tundra, is there a special tire to give that better fuel economy? So all of you guys that are driving, heavier vehicles or even lightweight vehicles, best way to get fuel economy out of a tire is, and this is going to sound odd, but it's nice, smooth highway tread. So again, it goes to rolling resistance and aerodynamics to a certain degree. So if you can change the footprint of the tire, get rid of some of the cleats, get more of a smooth type tire that's on it, you're going to increase fuel economy over some of the all seasons. And in that case, you may want to run 2 sets of tires. Everybody's like, well, geez, isn't that a lot more expensive? Well, if you're going to keep the car 10 years and put tires on it anyways, no. In fact, you're buying tires at today's cost, not 4 years from now when you're typically going to buy tires again, because here's the deal. You buy tires now, a second set, you're just going to extend the life of the other tires twice as much.
You're right.
Because you're going to only run them half as much. Yeah. So they're both going to last the same length of time, but it's doubling the time you're going to put tires on. The only expense that comes in is the swap once a year. And that's where some guys, especially on trucks, will go out and just find on Craigslist or whatever a second set of wheels for little to nothing. Find a stock set of wheels for $100, get them all mounted, balanced, etc. You go home, garage on an afternoon like today, which we're safe now switching tires out. I feel, and probably. Now it's going to snow a bunch because I said that. But anyways, first part of May, you go in, you jack it up, swap out your own tires and wheels, and now you've got your summer tires on. Winter comes back around, do the same thing. That becomes a very cheap, inexpensive way to swap tires. And if you're looking for best fuel economy in the summer, on an SUV truck, that's the best way to do it.
And you figure you're getting your tires rotated from time to time anyway, so
you're already
just
doing
rotate them out.
Exactly right. It's not a big deal. Yes, even if a shop does it, you own the wheels.
Right.
It's a pretty simple
thing to do.
Throw
them in the trunk or in the bed or whatever. Yeah.
$30-$40, they're swapped out. You're going to do that anyway, so there's really no additional expense at that point. Exactly. Off you go. So now that's the best way to do it. One line open, 303-477-5600. Don is up next. Don, welcome. Hello, Don. Are you with us? Hello, Don. Don and Golden. I'm going to put you back on hold. Larry, see if you can get Don on there real quick. I'll go to Russ up in Cheyenne. Russ, what's going on today?
Yeah, I had a quick question for you.
Sure.
Maybe not such a quick question, but I've been noodling putting a winch on my truck and my trailer both.
Okay.
I got a car hauler. And I kind of figured about the easiest way to do that is to, do the receiver hitch on the trailer and be able to move the winch around that way.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get a recommendation of for a winch. What would be probably the best for my truck?
Here's my advice on winches. If you're going to use a winch strictly on a trailer and it's only going to winch a car or something up periodically, you can buy the cheapest winch you want to buy. Go to wherever. Sorry, Napa, but you can go to Harbor Freight, wherever you want to go, buy a cheap winch, mount it permanently on the trailer, be done with it, because you're not going to use it that often, and it's not, if it doesn't happen to work one day, okay, great. It's not like you're up in the woods someplace stuck and you're going to be stuck there forever. So a different situation than what you're going to put on the truck. When it comes to something for the truck itself, I'm a Warren guy through and through. I've been around the winch industry long enough by now, 30 years roughly I've been around it. I've seen all the different manufacturers come and go. Warren quality is still number one. Everybody else, tries to achieve what they're doing. There are some other companies that have come now out of Australia and some other places that are doing a very good job, even one now out of England that's doing a really good job of competing, but they're just not mainstream enough yet for me to go out and actually buy one. So I'm still a Warren guy. I'd buy the Warren winch. In your case, and this is the rule of thumb I used to use anytime I sold somebody a winch in my stores. Whatever the vehicle weighs, double the capacity of the winch you need to buy for it. So if you've got a Toyota Tacoma, for example, vehicle weighs around 4,500 pounds, you want a 9,000-pound winch. You've got a full-size Dodge diesel, you're buying a 15,000-pound winch.
Okay, yeah, because I got a crew cab Chevy heavy duty.
You're buying a 15,000-pound Warren winch. And now, so in your case, here's the sticker now. That winch is too heavy. I mean, it takes two guys to literally, with a receiver hitch, which they don't even make, you'd have to custom make all of that. It becomes very heavy to move from vehicle to trailer. So in your case, Russ, I'm going to tell you, buy the 15,000-pound winch, mount it permanently onto the front of the Chevy, get all that done, handled, etc., then go buy a cheap $200 or $300 winch for the trailer and call it good.
Okay. Yeah, the concern I have with the trailer is where I park it. If I put a winch on it, it's going to be there about a week.
Well, weld the bolt is what we used to do for people, even on trucks. Weld the bolts that hold the winch on to the mount itself, and that way somebody has to have a grinder to take them off.
Okay, that's probably.
And weld them in two spots where, opposing each other. Where if you did have to take it off to service it, you just cut those welds and away you go. But just weld the bolts on. That's the easiest way to do it.
Okay. All right, I'll do that then.
Okay.
Okay, so, I noticed on the Warrens, too, that they have two different, styles. One's with the solenoid mounted up on top.
Yes. And then they have an integrated solenoid pack, which is their higher-end unit. Either one work fine. The one with the integrated pack that's all built into the winch has less trouble down the road because it's a solid-state system that actually works better than the other system does.
Okay.
It's longer lasting. I mean, literally, Russ, that's a winch that I'm not joking. You could buy that winch today and use it 30 years from now.
Yeah, well, that's the deal right there. I got a neighbor that's got one.
Yep.
That the truck is an 81, and
yep.
The winch looks better than the truck.
That's exactly. Yeah, and I'm not exaggerating. I mean, literally, those winches, they'll outlast several trucks by the time you're done if you buy the right winch.
All right. Do you recommend doing the actual, like the aftermarket bumper?
That's your call. You can either do an aftermarket, and again, the guys up in Fort Collins can help you with that. Talk to Russ and the guys up there, or Ross and the guys. They can help you out with that. That's your call. That's a preference thing more than anything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll give them a call and we'll figure out what we can do.
Yep. Call Ross. Those guys will help you out. Appreciate it, Russ, very much. And let's take one more call. Then we'll go to a break. We'll get ourselves caught back up. Another. You know what? We've got Don. Is Don still there, Larry, with us? Let's go back to Don and Golden. Don, welcome. What's going on today?
Well, I got a question for you on some old Toyota pickup trucks. I got a fleet that we have where I work at, and we got an 87 4x, an 89 4x, and a 93 2x Toyota pickup. Just a plain pickup.
Okay.
And they all do the same chuckling noise when you're in the parking lot. You make a tight turn.
Yep.
And it's like. It sounds like the torsion arms need some grease.
They're not. What's happening there is the stops that go to the knuckle, that basically allow the knuckle to stop on the control arm, if you would. Those have little plastic devices on them that actually Teflon, I think they were originally, that kept that from happening, and they get old and worn off and fall off. And there's two things you can do: either put new Teflon on them or just grease them up.
Yeah,
just we usually greased them. Yeah, put some Ollie grease on it and do that.
Yeah,
and that'll go away.
That'll go away.
Yes, it will.
It looks like a small ball and socket.
That's right. And that's a unique Toyota thing. Not very many other trucks have that.
Toyotas that do that.
That's right. And it was Toyota's way of not allowing the wheel and tire itself to have contact with any of the suspension components, so they put a stop in there to make it only go so far.
Okay.
Okay.
Boy, just some grease.
That's
huh?
easy to take care of. That's an easy. That's an easy one to fix.
Can I ask you another Toyota
You sure
question?
can. Yeah.
2005 Toyota 4Runner, 4-cylinder V6 automatic.
Well, it can't be a V6 4-cylinder. So is it the 4-liter V6?
4-liter V6.
Got it. There we go. Okay.
Okay. My wife's got like 50,000 miles on it, and the manual tells us that you can go 100,000 miles without servicing the cooling system or the automatic transmission.
Okay.
I'm thinking if I don't service those for 100,000 miles, when I get to 100,000, it's all destroyed.
It's going to be a big service.
Well, it will, and I think you're correct. And typically, somebody driving, routine, putting the miles on they're supposed to, that 100,000 miles probably would work because you're going to get to that a lot quicker than you are. You're already 10 years old now, or really, really close to it. You're 9+ years old on the vehicle. The 2015s are almost out, so you're really close to the 10-year mark. Yeah, and in your case, I would be one that would be looking at servicing those fluids at the 10-year mark.
Now, with the transmission, it's a more modern transmission than...
Correct. You want to do a fluid exchange on that transmission, and somebody that knows, how to do that needs to be the one doing it. So, yeah, that's a service that...
Now, the fluid exchange, that's a flush, correct?
Yeah. It's a flush, but, we've kind of gotten away from using the word flush because there's nothing powered in addition to what's coming out of the transmission anyway. So we've kind of gotten away from calling it a flush because it's not like the old days when you would do a coolant flush and you literally put more pressure into the system than it normally created. On a transmission service or a fluid exchange, it's the exact pressure the pump puts out on the transmission that's pushing the new fluid back in. So it strictly is an exchange of fluid.
But at the same time, would it be wise with the transmission to do a pan service as well?
At the 50,000 mark, and guys are going to argue with me on the show even, if it were mine, I wouldn't because you just don't have that many miles on it.
Right.
If you had 150 and you were doing your first one, I'd say, yeah, most definitely drop the pan, go through it, etc. But in your case, at 50,000 miles in 9 years, I'd flush it or do the fluid exchange and call it good.
As far as the cooling system, with doing a cooling system service, because of its vintage, would it be wise to change out some of the hoses?
You need to check them at this stage. Chances are they're probably going to be okay. I mean, they are getting 10 years old, so you really, again, you want an expert to look at the hose, feel it, tell how it looks, how it feels, is there any cracks in it, all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, you really want to go through it and make sure that everything is really, really dialed in. And you could be due for some hoses, but that's something somebody needs to inspect first and find out.
Well, very good.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right.
And just one more thing on the old suspension, it's the stops that are causing that chuckling noise.
Yeah, it's the stops. They're kind of right down at the bottom. As you steer the knuckle, you'll see it looks like I don't know, what does it look like?
Just a little knob.
Yeah, just a knob. Yeah,
knob with
like
threads
a little ball.
on it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's one on each side, right down lower case.
Well, and here's going to be the tip. When you look at the control arm, you'll see where they've been rubbing, and that'll give you an indication of where to look on the knuckle to find where it needs greased.
Right. It should be shiny if they're
That's
rubbing.
right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
It won't. When you get underneath there, it won't be hard for you to tell.
Right.
That's pretty simple.
Quick, yeah.
All righty.
All right, Don. Appreciate the phone call. Have a great afternoon. Happy Easter. One line open, 303-477-5600. And as I said earlier, we'll take any call. Jeff, we're going to come back and talk to you right after the break about a jet ski repair. So you know what? We'll take any calls. If it runs and you can hop on it, we'll talk about it. So 303-477-5600. I'm your host, John Rush, AM560 The Source.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Cleaning out the garage and cleaning up the yard means spring cleaning. Don't forget to clean up your car. Arvada West Auto sees a need in vehicles for spring maintenance after a cold, snowy winter takes its toll on your vehicle. We want to help you keep safe and your car running smoothly. Our ASE certified technicians are experts at what they do. Ask us about our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Let us and the power of Napa Auto Care keep you on the road. Call Arvada West Auto 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com, where every question is important. See you soon.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care. All right, and here we go. We are back. Thanks a lot for calling in. Lines are full. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air, 303-477-5600. We really love doing the show, love all the callers, and especially some of you. We had some calls in today that were just new people listening. We appreciate that very, very, very much, and I hope you will continue to listen. I talked about this earlier, and some of our viewers continue to go up. I can actually see on YouTube how many are watching and how many aren't, and it's kind of fun to watch that go up and down. But we are on YouTube live now. You can actually see us today, and we'll do this in the future. You can go to YouTube. Just type into the search bar Drive Radio, all one word. You can then watch us. Some of you may or may not. And I know some of you are out in the garage, you're in the car, and you're doing things where you actually can't watch YouTube. But you can come back and watch us later. You know, whether you can't see us now, but you want to see us later, kind of see what some of us look like, put a face to a voice. And most of us have faces for radio, not video. But anyways, you can do that. Check us out. And most of all, if you would, it would really help us if you'd go to YouTube. Whether you watch YouTube a lot or not, if you would subscribe to our channel, that would really help us a lot. That helps out our viewing, just gives us a better ranking, all of that. It just helps us out as a show immensely if you would do that. So we would appreciate that very much. All right, real quick, Jeff, you're going to be up next in just a second. Let's go to Michael. He was up first in Cheyenne. Michael, what's going on today?
Hi there. I got a question. 2 questions, please.
Okay.
All right. I called a couple of weeks ago, and you were out of town.
Okay.
And I was calling about contact information. I need a spare tire for a new motorhome I bought that does not come with a spare tire.
Okay.
And Dennis said something. You have information about a reconditioning place up down there.
I've got a person that I've been dealing with on my fleet side that can even provide some used tires in some cases, so that on a situation like yours where you're not wanting to go out and spend full price for a tire just to have as a spare, yeah, he could probably help you out with that and potentially find you a wheel. Yes, both of those.
Sounds good.
So if you want to, and I need to get this worked out to where he can be one of our sponsors, so maybe I'll talk to him about that. But in the meantime, send me an email, john@drive-radio.com, and then I'll just CC him on it and get you guys both in contact with one another and get that going.
Okay, wait, I want to get this again. John at Drive Radio.
John, John, at drive-radio.com.
Drive-radio. Okay.
Yep, drive-radio, and it'll come right to me, and I'll get you guys hooked up.
Okay, one more question, please.
Yes.
On this motorhome, I'm considering installing a K&N air filter system.
Okay.
Do you think that on the Ford V10, do you think that would help with power and fuel economy?
It does with both on that particular vehicle, yes. That's actually one of the vehicles that the K&N system really shines on. They do a great job on that vehicle, and yeah, I would highly recommend that, especially if it's made. Now, depending upon the chassis in the motorhome and the year and so on. By the way, you can look at all of that on K&N's website. Just go to knfilters.com and you can find all that information.
All righty, sir.
And if you need any help on that, let me know. We've got direct contacts with K&N, with them being one of our sponsors. So, yeah, I can get you hooked up with somebody there if you need to.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Michael. We appreciate it very much. And we've got a line open, 303-477-5600. Jeff is up next. Jeff, what's going on with your jet ski?
Well, I got some engine work that needs to be done, and I was wondering if you guys knew any independent shops that does that kind of work. The dealers in town really rape you on their hourly rate.
They do on the power sports side of the fence. I'll be careful how I say that, not throw anybody under the bus, but you're right. It's difficult. First of all, what brand do you have, and what's going on with it?
It's a Kawasaki Ultra 150, and the engine has pretty much been blown. I've been told that it'd be cheaper for me just to buy a recondition and swap it out, so I'm looking for somebody to do that for me.
And if that's the case, that's not that hard to do. You don't think that's something you can tackle on your own?
I've just never worked on that at that level, so...
If you're doing an engine swap, they're not hard.
Uh-huh.
In fact, we've got a new... Here's my recommendation to you. We've got a new member at DIY Auto Repair, is the name of the facility. They're over off of Federal, 70th and Federal, basically. You can go to our website, coloradoselect.com, look them up. Call Craig and those guys over there and just ask them if you bought an engine... do they have the ability to kind of rent you some space, come in there and assist you with swapping an engine? And I'll bet you they can.
Oh, that's an excellent idea.
They've got all the tools. They'd have everything you would need. You could get an engine drop shipped right to them. You pay the bill, but have it drop shipped to them, so they've got a place to actually unload the engine. Everything would be there. You roll it in there, get it swapped out. And I know Craig well enough to know he's done enough stuff for me over the years that that would not be something he'd be afraid of.
I've heard that. That's a wonderful idea. I'll have to give that a try.
Okay, yeah, because, again, that's not something I would send you to one of our Colorado Select facilities, because most of them are, one of the technicians there might want to do it on the side or something, but most of them are not going to want to tackle that and disrupt their normal, flow of work through it, through their bays. But over there, I don't think he'd have any trouble helping you out with that.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for the suggestion.
You're very welcome, Jeff. We appreciate it. And, yeah, unless one of you guys want to work on a jet ski.
No, not really equipped to do that. Yeah,
Yeah, and again, some of it is just, it's not that you can't.
You're right.
You could, but it's just the time factor. And
what are you going to run into, and who do you get gaskets from? What kind of downtime are you going to have?
Yeah, and in you guys' case, that's a different. But going to DIY and doing it that way, that'd be a piece of cake. So, and again, I'm speaking for Craig and the guys over there, but I really don't know why that wouldn't work out. So 303-477-5600 is our phone number. Let's go to Dennis real quick. Dennis, welcome. What's going on today?
Oh, hello. Yeah, I've got a 2001 Ford Explorer, Sport Track.
Okay.
And when I bought it, and it didn't have that electric motor that switches it into four-wheel drive on the rear of the...
Yep, got it, on the T-case.
Yeah, and when I put one on, now what it does when you put it in four-wheel drive, it'll just lock up when you're starting to turn.
It'll lock up like the...
It doesn't want to go anywhere.
Now, are you on dry pavement when you're doing that?
Yeah.
Okay. That's probably...
But is it locking up going forward, or when you're trying to turn it?
When you're trying to turn it.
Okay. So that's a normal condition for that, because you don't want to be in four-wheel drive on dry pavement, because and if you push through it, it'll usually click and the
tire's going to skip
right,
something.
Exactly.
Everything is bound up, is what Ken's trying to say, Dennis. So in the transfer case, it's basically splitting power 50-50.
Front to
50
back.
50 front, 50 back.
The front wheels are turning at a different speed, so
exactly.
It'll bind and it'll feel way uncomfortable.
The best way to test it is go find some gravel, since we don't have any snow at the moment. Go find some gravel road, whatever, and try it there and see if everything is okay.
Yeah.
Oh, then if it'll turn, then
yes.
it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, because that's...
Sounds to me like it's working.
But at least it's engaging, and it's not turning on any lights, I take it? No, nothing flashing?
No.
Okay.
When I bought it, like I say, it didn't have the motor on it.
Okay.
Yeah, and the other thing that you'd want to do is actually get it on a dirt road, try the lock, try turning like we just mentioned, I'm using my hand signals. I don't know why. The YouTube guys can see me, but
we all talk with our hands.
Exactly. So try turning it. Make sure that everything works there. And then what I would do too is drive at 35, 40 miles an hour in four-wheel drive down the dirt road, which you can do on a dirt road, and just make sure everything works. No lights come on to Ken's point, and so on.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only light that's coming on is high four-wheel drive. The low
That's
one.
exactly what you want.
Good. Yeah.
And try low range. Make sure that works
make
also.
sure the low range works, but you have to, there's a certain sequence. You have to be neutral, engine running, foot on the brakes, completely stopped, and then go into the low range.
Okay, so you hold the brake while you put it in low range?
In low range, you have to be in neutral, foot on
on.
the brake, and then completely stopped. And and then to come out of low range, you have to be the same way too.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
If it knows it's moving, it will not allow you to go into low range.
It'll just flash and won't go in. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I appreciate that.
All right. Sounds great. Appreciate it very much. Have a great afternoon. And let's take a break real quick. We're up against it. And guys that are listening, we'll be right back with you. One line open, 303-477-5600. John Rush, your host, AM560 The Source.
Hunting down that hard-to-find part for an out-of-the-ordinary car can be quite a time-consuming chore. Unless, of course, you just go around the corner to your local Napa Auto Parts store, where we have over 310,000 parts, all of them made to fit and perform just like the original. Yeah, there are people who say it's the journey and not the destination, but those people have never tried to find an alternator for an 82 Fiat on a Saturn. Go to NapaOnline.com for the location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
How much does it cost you to drive to work? Would you be surprised to know that if you have a car payment and drive 5 miles or more each way, you're spending at least $7.50 a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year? You're looking at about $2,000 a year. Wow. There are ways to cut that number in half, and we can help you to keep your money in your pocket at Cipher Automotive. I will perform a cost per mile analysis for your maintenance and to show you how to save as much as $8,500 per year by simply making your vehicle last longer. Call or click today, CipherAuto.com or 303-422-5261.
As soon as the weather warms up, thoughts turn to mountain drives, camping, and exploring. Let your dreams of travel take off. But first, take your vehicle to John's 4x4. A thorough inspection of battery, belts, hoses, fluids, and more makes taking to the road a breeze. John's 4x4 is a proud member of Colorado Select Napa Auto Care. Steer away from car trouble and get peace of mind with John's 4x4. Located in Boulder, Fort Collins, and open during all the construction. Also on Facebook. John's 4x4.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, and we are back. I got a car review I'm going to slip in here in a minute, but we'll go ahead and get a couple of calls taken real quick. As soon as somebody drops off, give us a call. We'll get you right on air. And by the way, all those car reviews, I'll do some of them through the shows. I'll continue to do that. But the best way to get those is go online, go to YouTube. I've actually got printed reviews that we actually have on our website, drive-radio.com, or go to YouTube. You can watch the videos. You know, we go into like 9-10 minutes of video typically because again, we can put a lot more content in that I just can't do on air. I can take the camera, show you all the different features, show you how the dash works, the radios, things like that that is really hard for me to explain on air how some of it works, some of the fit and finish and feel and look and so on. So again, a lot more that I can do on video, and so I think what I'm going to start doing is little snippets here on air, send you to the YouTube site. You can look at everything there, you know, ask questions, etc. And that's just a much better way for us to actually do the car reviews. Again, we'll talk about them here, and we drive enough cars to know what to, you know, buy, not buy, what fits you, etc. Steve was talking earlier about how important it is for us to be teamed up with somebody that can, as we get down the road, and there's going to be 5 or 6 different types of vehicles to buy, not counting trucks. We're just talking about cars. We really have to be partnered with somebody that understands all that technology, ask you the right questions, so at the end of the day, you're driving the right car. Right, Steve?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really important.
There are no bad cars now.
That's right. There really aren't.
It's just bad choices.
That's exactly right. So, all right, let's go to, speaking of cars, let's go to Dave is up next. Let's go to Dave real quick. Dave, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, yeah, this question is specifically for Andy. I'm looking at buying a used Toyota.
Okay.
It's not one of your most popular models, the Venza.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
good
it's
car.
a fantastic car.
Yeah.
And actually, my understanding is based on the Camry platform, but does it share any running gear or anything with the Camry?
Yeah, the Venza is kind of unique. The platform is shared not only with Camry but also Highlander and Sienna.
Right.
Because it's more of that crossover, so there's certain parts of each one of those in there. As far as what's shared, the
engine,
engines, transmissions. The only exception would be the 4-cylinder in the Venza is a 2.7 liter, whereas the Camry has a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder.
Well, I go with the V6 up
That's the
here,
same
going to the
3.5.
mountains all the time and stuff.
Yep.
I couldn't see going to 4.
But the Venza is, in my opinion, and we just reviewed one not long ago, so you can read a full review on our website, by the way, and you can actually do that on the Venza because we just did one not long ago. A great car. I call that a sleeper car. What I mean by that is it's not super well known for some reason. If you talk to people about it, most people couldn't even tell you what a Venza is. They can tell you what a Camry is, but most can't tell you what a Venza is. But it's a great car. It's a great size, has a great back seat, great room in the rear, all-wheel drive. The car works fantastic.
Yeah, I'm looking at used probably between 09 to 12 or somewhere around there frame. And my only question is with an 09, and that's the year they came out, I'm kind of reluctant to buy the first model year of any new vehicle.
Any problems on the 09s that you think of, Randy?
The only thing that I'm aware of on the 09 was that dashboard has kind of a split dashboard, so there were some fitment issues on that, but it's not. I mean, that's more of a cosmetic thing, not a mechanical issue. And they've corrected that. We had a number of complaints, so we always go back and fix things if we can.
Well, that's why I was wondering. Sometimes I'm reluctant to buy the first model year because there's always little bugs.
There is. That's true with any vehicle. That's very true. And again, because no matter how much testing the manufacturer wants to do, when you get a car in the real world having millions of people driving it, it changes everything that was done in labs and in even other pre-testing that was done because you just can't. It's like beta testing software. Until people really use it, you can't get every bug worked out. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, great points.
Yeah, but as far as the engines, transmissions, those are we've used that V6 since 2004 in the Avalon. So it's rock solid, the transmissions. So again, maybe a couple of cosmetic things, but no major issues with that.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it very much. Let's take Ray, who is in Thornton. He's up next. Ray, welcome. What's going on today?
Really enjoy your show.
Thank you.
I have a question. I know you guys always say not to mix different color antifreeze coolants in different vehicles, and I was in one of the big box stores, which I will not name, but I noticed Prestone has put out a product that says mixes with all colors and makes and models. What's your feeling about using that product as not as a complete replacement for coolant, but as a top-off product?
I would not do that. There's a lot of products out there that say will work in anything, and they're just not the same. They just don't seem to have the same characteristics and things along those lines. So yes, it can get you by in a jam, but you don't want to keep it in there.
And I'm on Ken's side of that, Ray. I mean, if you were out in the middle of nowhere, you needed some coolant, you didn't have any other choice. I mean, some coolant and even mixing at that point, you just have to do it because you got to have coolant. But when you have the option of having the right stuff added, put the correct coolant in it.
Yeah, because that's not going to have the same properties as the original coolant, coolant type anyway. And there's coatings on the engine block or on the inside the engine where that coolant passes through that it can attack and not.
Our rule of thumb is, and we've changed even some of this in the past several years because of all the technology changes we've had. Use whatever fluid came in the car from the get-go. Period.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Okay, appreciate it.
All right, appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much. Let's see, we might be able to squeeze one more in. Doris in Denver, we've got about a minute. You know what, Doris, I'm going to put you on hold. hang on. We're close enough to a break. There's no way we're going to get a question answered in about 35, 40 seconds. So, Doris, hang with us. We're going to get to you as soon as we come back. Sam and Cheyenne, you're calling in. We'll get your question queued up also. That leaves us one line open, 303-477-5600. And we didn't talk much about CVT transmissions, guys. All I'll say is they're coming. They're not going away. As much as some people didn't like them in the beginning, they're here to stay, and you're going to see more makes and models come out with them, especially on the lighter weight vehicles. We may talk about a little bit of that when we come back after the news. Stay with us, though. Don't go away. You YouTube people that are watching, stay with us. We'll come back right after the news here on AM560 KLZ, The Source.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers. The independently owned and operated shops of Colorado Select hold each other accountable for their highest standards of technical expertise, honesty, and professionalism. They all understand that choosing a mechanic is risky business, so Colorado Select was created by this exclusive group of like-minded professionals who are dedicated to raising the level of consumer confidence in Colorado's auto repair industry. Schedule your next oil change at any of the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers heard on Drive Radio, and you'll immediately see the difference. For the complete list of all the member shops in the state, visit drive-radio.com.
Legacy Wealth Designers employs a variety of specialized strategies to help pre- and post-retirees. Founder Brian Denton says the process starts in the first meeting.
When I work with a client, my goal is to understand them and their goals. Then we perform a comprehensive analysis to see how well their current financial situation is in line with what their goals are.
Listen to the Financial Safari with Brian Denton, now airing Saturday afternoons at 4 on 560 KLZ, The Source.
This is the legendary KLZ, AM560 KLZ HD Denver, and online streaming at 560thesource.com. Since 1922, KLZ Denver.
This is the Blaze Radio News. I'm Brad James.
Harry Reid has lost his freaking mind.
That's Mike Huckabee speaking on Fox News and responding to Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid's comments about the Nevada cattle rancher Cliven Bundy and supporters, calling them terrorists.
If there were ever an example of people who were domestic violent terrorist wannabes, these are the guys. And I think that we should call it that way.
Senator Reid speaking on a local TV station, KSNV. The dispute over Bundy's cattle grazing on state-owned land. Huckabee saying there are far greater issues the senator ought to be attacking.
If he honestly thinks that it's okay for the federal government to use all of its force to stop some cows from eating grass, but this is the same Harry Reid that hasn't done one thing to stop the IRS from trampling over the constitutional rights of people who have a political view different than his.
This is news on the Blaze Radio Network.
In the year 1791, Americans were guaranteed individual freedoms and a limited government. Today, those freedoms are disappearing. The government listens to your phone calls and scans your emails. That's why we've created 1791 Email. When you sign up for an account, you can rest assured that we won't invade your inbox or scan your emails. And with your 1791 Email account, you'll be letting everyone know that you believe in individual freedom. Find out more about 1791 Email at 1791.com and start sharing the spirit of America today.
You love The Blaze. You watch it, you listen to it, you blog it, and you surf it. Now you can read it in print. Go to theblazemagazine.com and sign up today, and we'll give you an issue absolutely free. Get 10 issues filled with exclusive content delivered directly to your home. All you have to do is go to theblazemagazine.com on your computer, sign up, and we'll give you a free issue. This offer is limited, so go to theblazemagazine.com now.
The Blaze Radio News on KLZ 560 The Source.
Got a question about your car?
Being an expert on general automotive knowledge, what would the correct ignition timing be on a 1955 Bel Air Chevrolet with a 327 cubic inch engine and a 4-barrel carburetor?
It is a trick question.
What's this?
The Chevy didn't make a 327 in 55. The 327 didn't come out till 62. And it wasn't offered in the Bel Air with a 4-barrel carb till 64. However, in 1964, the correct ignition timing would be 4 degrees before top dead center.
Everything you ever needed to know about your car, but we're afraid to ask. Call now. Ask the ASE Certified Master Mechanics John Rush and Donnie Cipher. This is Hour 2 of Drive Radio, presented by the independently owned and operated members of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers, raising the standard for auto repair, diagnosis, and vehicle maintenance across the state. Find the Colorado Select Auto Care Center nearest you by visiting drive-radio.com. Now back to Drive Radio on KLZ 560 The Source and 560thesource.com.
All right, welcome back. Hour 3. Drive Radio. If some of you have just tuned in for the first time today, you'll learn to listen to us on a weekly basis. We're here 10 to 1 every week. And one thing you'll learn about us, too, is a lot of times I bring all sorts of topics, and I know I'm bad about bringing a lot of topics and not getting to all of them. I mean, I always want to make sure I have enough to talk about. But on the same token, if you guys as listeners and callers continue to call us, guess what? We're here for you.
That's
so
what it's about,
the topics can go to the back burner. I can always bring those back up. But we really are here to help you, talk to you. A lot of great calls we've had today for not only our guests, for me, for Randy. It's been a great combination. You've all had just fantastic questions and appreciate it very much. So, again, we're going to go right to the phones, get as many calls in this hour as we can. As soon as somebody drops off, call us, 303-477-5600. Doris, welcome. What's going on today?
Hi, I have a 1999 Volkswagen Beetle. It's a turbo 5-speed.
Got it.
And even when I purchased it, which has been quite a while ago, it had kind of a chronic problem with the check engine light. And I've had it checked and taken off and, various things done to that check engine light over the years. And it never really stays off. It'll stay off for a little while, but it comes back on. But what I'm really calling about is my air conditioning. And I sort of think the two are tied together, but I could be wrong. It isn't working. I've had it serviced numerous times in the last few years, everything from a new compressor to pressure switches to, having the, more, Freon put in, various things like that. And so currently, it was working over the winter, or so it seemed, and now coming into this warmer season, when I turn it on, when I press the button to turn it on, initially it turned on and I got nice cold air and it worked okay, and then it would stop blowing cold air and just blow warm air. And I noticed that the little light that is on the button, the air conditioner button, isn't lighting up. It's just staying dark. And occasionally it'll turn back on. I mean, maybe 1 out of 20 times if I press it, it might turn on, and then it blows cold air again. If I can get that light to come on.
Yeah, and what the light is signifying is that the system is on, AC compressors turning on, etc. And so what you're seeing is, unless that light's on, the system is not energized, quote unquote.
Right.
And that means the system's not working. So that could, and I'll let Steve answer this. He's really more into Volkswagens than I am. I had one of those for a long time, but go ahead.
No,
Steve.
I was just thinking it's just mainly sounds like it's low. Is a Freon is low as possibly there's a leak. That's what I would probably start with first to see why it's not working. But it sounds like you've been battling something on this car for a while.
It's been such a chronic problem. It's like a black hole, and I'm just crazy about the car. But I've got to have.
Those are fun to drive with that turbo.
They are.
Oh, they're fun.
Doris, we do have a Volkswagen European expert. Actually, a couple of them. Steve over in Littleton is one that could actually help you out at Geno's. I don't know what part of town you're in, but he's one.
I'm willing to almost go anywhere.
Well, Steve is one of your choices. Then we also have a European expert in our group. That's over at Anderson's, Kurt over at Anderson's Foreign Car. And he's over in the what kind of West Colfax area, basically.
Golden
I-70 and Colfax West.
Yeah.
And he and Kurt is not downplaying Steve, but that's all Kurt does as Europeans. All day long, every day, that's what he does. He would be, he'd be our #1 European expert that we have.
This is the one over in Littleton.
No, he's the one in, well, it's
Boulder.
basically Lakewood, Colfax.
Okay, I'll go over there.
And make sure you tell him that we sent you, that you heard us on air, and we sent you in there. And he's a super honest guy. He'll do exactly what you want him to do, diagnose the vehicle, tell you what's going on with it, and so on.
And I can bring my records as to all the
That's
things
exactly what you need to do. Great idea.
I really have had a lot done.
Yes, you do.
Tell me again where this place is.
It's Anderson's Foreign Car, and they're right west of I-70 in Colfax, over on the west end of I-70 in Colfax.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
Anderson's. It's Kurt. Kurt is his name. Kurt Anderson.
Okay. Got it.
Anderson's Foreign Car.
Okay. Thanks. I appreciate the
You bet. Thank you very much. And by the way, Doris, if you're still listening, which I'm sure you are, you can find all of our members with addresses, making everything easy at coloradoselect.com. So Kurt's listed there, and I don't want to steer away from Steve. It sounds like she's a little closer to Kurt, and that's if that's a chronic problem, really you need somebody and Kurt's the guy that really understands those cars, and he can delve into that and really figure out what's going on. So line open 303-477-5600, and I want one of those for actually. And you know what? The check engine light was always on. Even being a technician, it was a periodic on-off. Yeah.
One of my guys was coming in one day and he saw a bumper sticker on a Beetle, and it had the picture of the check engine light, and underneath it said, "It's a way of life." and that stuck. I'm like, yeah, you know what? That is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wasn't the field fix on that just some black electrical?
Exactly. There you go. All right, line open 303-477-5600. Sam up in Cheyenne, you're next. What's going on today?
Hi, I got a 2006 Dodge Ram 5.7 liter Hemi Mega Cab.
Okay.
When I first bought it, it was a great truck. I was getting about anywhere from 15 to 17 miles a gallon. I had the cold air intake put into it, and then camper shell. I do have bigger tires and everything else. But even when I was at a stoplight, if I had to be careful on the throttle because it would spin the tires.
Right.
And over the years, I've noticed my gas mileage is going down. I'm losing my power, and right now I'm getting about anywhere from 7 to 8 miles a gallon. And I don't have the power like I used to. I do pull a lot of heavy stuff with my truck. I have a camper and a horse trailer I pull quite a bit, and they range anywhere from 10,000 to 12,000 pounds.
Okay.
I've taken to several mechanic shops, including the dealerships, and they say that they can't find anything wrong. Everything seems to be operating okay. The last place I took it to, the only thing they found wrong with it was that they said there's a manifold leak and that needs to be fixed sometime soon. Besides that, I can't figure out what's going on.
What was the manifold leak doing? Was it a vacuum type leak or was it a coolant type manifold leak?
It's it's the exhaust manifold. But I don't know.
Which by the way, could still cause a problem on the power side of the fence, because if it's not reading the correct exhaust measurements coming out past the O2 sensor and so on, that could also have ill effect on the rest of the fuel management. The other thing I was going to ask you real quick is, since you've done some things to the truck, has anything on the truck changed in the last 2 or 3 years? Tire size, anything along those lines?
No.
Everything's exactly the same way as it was when you were getting the 16, 15, 16 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So have you done anything like a fuel treatment, like a top engine clean?
I've tried those fuel additives. I even tried doing a tune-up to it and upgrading to the higher-end spark plug.
Yeah, don't do that. That actually is going to hurt you more than it'll help you.
Oh, okay.
Go back to the regular plugs that it came with from the factory. In fact, that could be, I'm not going to say that's all of your problem, but that could be a contributing factor to it. How many? I know we didn't ask. How many miles are on the truck?
There's 97,000 miles, and the last full tune-up I had done to it was where I changed all the fluids, was about 60,000.
Okay. And you're not at 97. I was trying to figure out. Did you have 297 or 197? So at 97, you shouldn't have any issues with, bad compression, things like that. But here's what I would do if it were me. If this was my truck. First things first. Make sure everything mechanical is good. So you want a full compression test. Make sure every cylinder is putting out the kind of compression that it needs to. You could have something as as little as a valve not closing all the way. Things along those lines that can happen because of carbon buildup and things that Steve just mentioned. So first things first, do a complete compression test. And while you're at it, if they can, you could do a leak down test just to kind of see what's going on. But again, mechanically, make sure everything's working like it should. Then start delving into all the fuel management side of the fence. And what bothers me is with all of the folks you've been to, dealers, etc., they should have been able to look at all the fuel trim parameters and so on and see exactly, what's timing doing, where's the fuel curve at, is it adding fuel, taking away fuel, etc. Is all of that working like it's supposed to? Is the O2 sensor lazy to where it's not working like it should and trimming fuel like it should? And you should be able to see all of that on the scan tool if they're doing it right.
Right. And if there was an issue there, a 06, it's got the technology to
tell you what's going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The O2 sensor was replaced when I did that full service.
Okay. And did they use, high quality factory type parts or just whatever was cheap that you could stick in it?
I don't know.
Okay. That'd be the other thing to check because there's a big difference in O2 sensors.
Yeah.
So where you're at, what I would recommend is you've got to get some baselines established. So again, first things first, compression test needs done. Figure out if everything mechanical is correct, and then you start going through the rest of the processes. But again, getting back to basics, get the plugs back to what they were original. Start down that process. To Steve's point, make sure that it's got a good top engine clean to it, and all the carbon is out as much as you possibly can get out of it. And then start into the rest of the fuel management and see what's going on.
And one thing, you said it was an 06, doing some of the emission technical stuff, things along those lines, there's been a few bad catalytic converters, and catalytic converters usually won't set a code unless they're not working, but if they get melted down, they'll restrict the exhaust, and lose your power.
And you'll lose power, and your mileage is going to go down. Yeah. But again, these are things that you can also see running a scan tool and look at what's going on. Yeah. So again, I'm not trying to point fingers, but I think you need to get to somebody that just understands the technology a little bit better and can really pinpoint what's going on, because you don't have enough miles on the truck to really have that lack of power and fuel mileage like you're having.
Okay. Where do you guys recommend me going? Like dealership, or do you guys have other?
Well, our closest independent to you is going to be down in Fort Collins, so you're a 45 minute drive, down the corridor there, I-25 to Fort Collins 4x4. That's our closest one we've got to you.
The gas mileage back up, it's definitely worth the call.
Well, that's true. That's true. Yep.
Okay.
All right.
And for the manifold, do you recommend going with replacing with the same stock one, or upgrading to more of a high flow?
You could do high flow. Just remember, with every had this conversation this past week with my son. Every change you make on it, there's a pro and a con.
You're right.
Yeah, you may get some better power. You may even get a little better fuel economy, but typically the longevity is not as good on the header type manifolds versus a regular stock cast iron manifold. So with everything you do, there's a trade-off.
Okay.
Not saying not to do it, just look at your trade-offs and then realize what's going on and make that decision.
And remember, with any change, that vehicle was engineered by Chrysler engineers. Correct. To when you make a change, you become the engineer.
Correct.
So that's one thing to keep in mind.
Exactly
so you don't want to move sensors. You don't want to do anything.
No, and when it comes to exhaust, and I'm a big one on this, you want to pay the money, buy high quality, and make sure that it is the exact replacement, to Ken's point, so that everything is in the right location and works and fits properly too.
Yes, exactly.
So, and there's a big difference. I'm talking twice as much cost for the good stuff versus the cheap stuff.
Right.
And that really goes to the engineering aspect of it and the testing and these aftermarket companies. A lot of them make really good stuff, but they just can't test like the manufacturers can.
Right. And there's only a few that can. We have K&N that's a sponsor, and the reality is they build a lot of stuff for the OEMs, and they do that because they have the ability to dyno test, do the R&D, and again, they're a really, really big aftermarket company. They're not somebody working out of a garage. Not saying that's bad to work out of the garage, but to Randy's point, you just can't do some of the testing when you're on that small of a scale as you can when you're K&N or Toyota or GM or whatever.
Right.
Make sense?
Okay,
Sam, thanks so much. We appreciate the phone call. One line open, 303-477-5600. Peter, you've got a question on your S10, whether you want to keep it or sell it. We'll talk to you just as soon as we come back. Drive Radio, I'm your host, John Rush, KLZ 560 The Source.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each Colorado Select member currently offers Napa's Peace of Mind warranty, but are now also offering an extended 2-year or 24,000-mile warranty on repair work. You won't find this offer anywhere else. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-6272.
At Napa, we're always trying to make the great parts we sell even better. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And every Napa part is covered by a warranty good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. Go to NapaOnline.com for a location nearest you. Napa, get the good stuff.
Need a one-stop auto repair solution in northern Colorado? At Fort Collins 4x4 Center, they service and maintain more than just 4x4s. From diesel pickups to economy cars, their team of service specialists and technicians have the computer diagnostics, tools, and expertise to service and repair any make or model. They combine their skills with integrity, giving you the best service in the industry. From preventative maintenance to major repairs, you can trust your vehicle to Fort Collins 4x4. Located just a few blocks north of Old Town on College Avenue in Hemlock, they're open Monday through Friday, 7:30 until 5:30, with convenient shuttle service and after-hours drop. If you're ready to form a solid relationship with an auto repair shop, the new owners at Fort Collins 4x4 are committed to providing the professional and personal service you're looking for. Give them a call at 970-482-5500. 970-482-5500. Check them out on the web at FortCollins4x4.com or follow them on Facebook at FortCollins4x4.com.
After 30 years of business, Gino's Auto Service is expanding. Hi, this is Jennifer, and my dad owns Gino's Auto Service in Littleton. What does our expansion mean for you? Savings on all our repair and maintenance services. We work on all makes and models, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. At Gino's, we use genuine Napa parts and are AAA approved. Stop by and see the transformation at Bowles and Platte Canyon, or visit us online at ginosautoservice.com. That's ginosautoservice.com.
Ever try to buy an air filter and get lost in catalogs and vehicle descriptions? Well, K&N, the inventor of reusable cotton filters, has got the answer to the mess. Just visit knfilters.com and enter your vehicle identification number off your dashboard or car registration, and K&N will show you the filter that fits your car. It's never been easier to buy a K&N, the filter that helps your car run better.
Right, we're back. Thanks a lot for listening. Lines are full. As soon as somebody chimes back off air, or drops off air, chime in with us, 303-477-5600. We'd love to chat with you. We're going to go right to Peter. He's next. Peter, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, good afternoon. I've got a question. It's probably a very common one. I inherited this S10 pickup from my son, and it has 186,000 miles on it. It runs well. It looks well. The question is, if I sell it, I don't want to stick somebody with potential repairs that I'm not aware of, or should I keep it? And am I looking at some repair down the road? I've never had a vehicle with this many miles on it, and so I'm in a quandary. What do you guys think?
But if you keep it, what are you going to use it for? That's
just
first
drive
question.
it around, just to have it around, you know, do nothing really.
And you have room for it, and the extra little bit of license plates and insurance doesn't bother you?
I do. Yeah, it's it's been well maintained and gotten its oil changes and stuff.
I'd keep it. I mean, that truck will run 300,000. I mean,
Really?
we've seen them go that far. Plus, the weakest link on that whole truck is the transmission.
Okay.
And I'm just being 100% forthright with you. That's the weak link in that truck.
Okay. Does that happen at a particular mileage?
Now, if it's been maintained and serviced well, it's liable to go 200,000 plus. You start getting around that 200K mark, though, of that particular unit, you can plan on, potentially spending some money. But depending on how many miles you're going to put on it per year, that could be several years down the road for you.
Okay. So you're saying if I've got a place, go ahead and keep it. If it runs fine, it'll continue. Maybe it burns a little oil now, I think.
Because here's the deal. you'll never buy that truck again for what you're going to sell it for.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you're not going to get any money out of it.
I know.
Yeah.
So you'll never be able to replace it for what you're going to sell it for. So if you've got and here's the other thing, it's not going down in value even if you keep it another couple of years and then get rid of it.
It's already kind of
it's
at the
there.
bottom.
It's at the bottom. Exact to Ken's point. It's at the bottom already.
Okay.
So you're not going to hurt. It's not going to bother anything to keep it for another year or two and just see what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good advice. I'm sure a lot of people have that same question. Once these cars and trucks get in these high mileages, at what point do you get rid of them, even if they seem okay?
You know, and a lot of that comes down to personal preference. Who you are as a family. Do you ever need a spare car for other family members coming into town? All of those sorts of things kind of get thrown into the mix. And I'm one that just typically says, you're not, that truck on the open market's not going to bring an 01 S10. You're not going to get $3,000 out of that truck selling.
No way. Yeah.
So, okay, at $3,000, you can't go buy a replacement vehicle for $3,000 that's any good.
Right.
So keep it, drive it, put a little insurance on it. Carry liability only. Don't go through all of the full collision and comp and all that, and have your uninsured motorist on it. To make sure that you're okay on that side of the fence. And outside of that, maintain it and drive it and keep it around for a spare truck, and you can haul trash and whatever else you want to do with it that way, and you're set.
Okay, great.
Third vehicle.
I have another little question regarding fuel injector cleaner.
Okay.
Does that stuff work? Is it worthwhile putting it in every so many miles, or what's the deal on that?
The answer is yes. When it comes to fuel-saving devices, we were going to kind of get into this, so this is a nice segue. In general, 99% of the fuel-saving devices you see on the market don't work. They're all gimmicks. They're all a joke. They just don't work. Somebody's trying to sell something, and that's what they are. Now, fuel injector cleaner, if it's the right brand, used the right way, yes, they work. For example, BG44K is a great product. There's other products similar to that. You only want to use it a couple of times a year, and does it work? Yes, they work very well. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the advice.
You're
Really
very
enjoy your
welcome.
show.
Thanks for the phone call. Appreciate it very much. Line open, 303-477-5600. And as we start looking west here, guys, we could turn the camera around here in a minute. It's actually starting to clear up. Looks pretty nice. Nice warm day. So give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. 303-477-5600. Let's go to Mark, who's next. Mark, welcome.
Oh, hi there, guys. As always, a wonderful show.
Thank you.
I wanted to add a little bit to the mix about a couple of things. First thing I wanted to say on the air that the guys at Geno's, John at Geno's has helped me out a couple times.
Yeah.
Oh. And I bought a used Solara, a 6-year-old Solara, that I went to Toyota and they said, don't change any fluids, you don't have to. Well, I went to John at Geno's, and John pulled the dipstick on the tray. He said, you really should change this, and you really need to do the cooling. And when John changed that fluid in that transmission now shifts like butter. Before, it was a little notchy, and sometimes in the morning it would be cold, and now it's just like butter.
How many miles do you have on it?
It only has 30,000 miles on it.
Interesting.
That's
It was
awesome.
given by a grandmother in Arizona. I got it from I got it through the folks at Centennial.
Great.
And they got it out of Arizona. It's literally driven by a grandmother, and the guy, like I said, Toyota said not to do anything with it. And then when we changed my coolant out, I said, John, please just look at the thermostat. And the thermostat was really badly worn, so we replaced that too. And ever since then, as soon as that car starts up, within minutes, the heater starts to work.
That's good. That's great.
Yeah, John showed me the thermostat. The shaft, you could see the wear right in a very small range, and it was worn badly, and it was the original thermostat. So,
interesting. Well, good for you. That's great, Mark. We like to hear those stories. That's awesome.
yeah. And the other thing is a couple of years ago, I bought a forestry service truck, which Larry went through for me and found just about everything that needed to be repaired on it. I still bought it because it was in great shape and a great price.
Right.
And about, I think 3 or 4 years ago, you were saying if you've got an older vehicle that's got 125,000 or more on it, consider replacing mass air sensor and oxygen sensors.
Yeah.
And I did that on my truck. I put the Bosch Platinum sensors, O2 sensors on, and changed the air mass, and I picked up a mile per gallon just doing that.
Yeah, because those sensors get lazy over time is what happens. And so,
Right.
yeah, any of that's just going to make things that much crisper.
Right, and plus the car just drives fine. And a couple of years ago, you also told me you need to make sure that the software is updated on that car. And I had that done also. And when that happened, the transmission just started shifting so much better, and the overall vibe of the engine, transmission, drivetrain all just settled right down.
Yeah, and those are some of the things even Randy was alluding to earlier, that, you know, when manufacturers find updates, software is one of the easiest things for them to then push out and do some updates. And again, those are things that, you know, they just can't do enough testing real world until the car is actually produced, and then to come back in and do some software updates does fix some of the things that you're mentioning. That's exactly right.
Yeah, my car, when you started up first thing in the morning on a cold day, would roar. And, it would just roar, and I thought, well, this is probably that thermal link that's on the fan. Mm-hmm. But when they redid the software, that all quieted down. I mean, it was just almost like a different truck.
Very cool. That's awesome. Good news.
And I just thank you guys for your show. It's wonderful. I listen every week if I can, and I tell friends about it all the time.
We appreciate that. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate that very, very much. Thanks so much, Mark. We appreciate that. Let's go to Steve is up next. We have one line open, 303-477-5600. Steve, what's going on today?
Thank you for answering me. 99 Ford 6-cylinder Ranger, 2003 Sebring, piece of junk. Anyway, excuse my language.
It's all right.
I get engine light, check engine, whatever, check engine on both of them. The Sebring, I have changed the gas cap, and it didn't do anything.
Okay.
Any other suggestion?
What codes do you have? What codes are registering?
Well, sir, I don't have a code reader. A friend of mine took the code off, and he was talking about a smoke test or something in the gas tank or the lines. So
it must have had an evap code, or he wouldn't be talking about using the machine other than that.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that would be something, especially on that one with an evap leak. You would just have to have it tested to see where the leak is actually coming from. If there's a bunch of other things other than the gas cap, but yeah, that's
seems like there's some hoses that rot on those.
I didn't know. I thought if it was just smoke, I can make some smoke. Maybe
get a campfire, stuff like that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a little different smoke than that. Yeah. But same principle. The smoke is actually finding the leaks and where the holes are at and so on, and that's what we use.
Move on. I know there's other people waiting.
That's all right.
Ford 6-cylinder Ranger, nice truck, a lousy gas mileage, but that's my problem. I get the same thing now. On that one, I believe it's the airflow sensor.
Okay.
$72, $3. It's a little metal thing with two black hoses on the bottom. And I guess I'm asking, can those be rebuilt? No, just buy a new part.
Just buy a new part. Yeah. Buy a high quality new part.
Yeah.
Okay, because one I saw in the store was plastic. The one I have is aluminum, but they said they don't have the aluminum, so I didn't know where to get the aluminum, which to me it's higher quality.
Well, you need to, because there are two styles, and the connector will only work in one or the other, whichever one it calls for. So, and that's called the DPFE sensor. Is that what you're talking about?
I believe I'm looking at it right now, and the two hoses go on the bottom. It's right on top.
Yeah, so it's part of the EGR monitoring, and you definitely want to get the Motorcraft is what I found on my Explorer that is the only thing that really works on that. And
I changed the hoses on the bottom. I didn't do anything.
And you used the silicone hoses, not just regular vacuum hose?
Well, I know they were black. That's about all.
and again, to Ken's point, there's a difference in vacuum hose.
Right. Yeah, they're not just regular vacuum hose because they're exposed to a lot of heat there.
That's right.
And
I might mention one thing that I did stupidly. I disconnected this big air hose, and that goes into the air filter box. And when I put it back on, I wrestled it. This is so hard to get off and on. It's almost like my first girlfriend. But I pinched the bottom of the hose, and it kind of curled in.
Okay.
And I thought that was it, but it wasn't. So that airflow sensor, you know, I couldn't see it on the bottom, but
Got it.
I might mention that to your listeners. When they take these hoses off, be sure they check 360 degrees that everything is
That's right.
back like
That's exactly
it should be.
right.
One more question and I'll let you go. I got a low speed whine on the transmission. I don't know how to describe it. The truck.
Okay, on the Ranger.
And it comes in at low speeds, 10 miles, and it kind of winds over the normal idle, whatever you call it, engine noise. And about 25, 30 miles an hour, naturally, the faster I go, it just goes away. And at times I could smell, I'm an electrician, I compare it to like Bakelite burning or oil burning. I mean, I've worked on cars, but I have no idea. It runs fine, doesn't mess with it, but it sounds like it'll start about 5 miles an hour and it goes maybe 20, 25 miles an hour. Then after that, I don't hear it no more. And I was just wondering, is that transmission problem?
Boy, hard to say. Yeah, I really have to, have somebody with a trained ear on that and take a listen to it.
Yeah, and that's one that, depending upon what part of town you're in, just go by one of our facilities. Steve, ColoradoSelect.com is how you can find them. And I would just have somebody take a ride in that, listen to it, smell it at the same time. They can get a good idea of what's going on, to your point, by doing that. So,
it doesn't always smell, but, now maybe it ground off, burned off, whatever. So.
Right, got it. Hard to say.
Okay.
All right, Steve, appreciate the phone call very much. Thanks a lot. Have a great afternoon. We got to take a quick break. One line open, 303-477-5600. Let's go to a break. We'll be right back. KLZ 560, The Source.
Cleaning out the garage and cleaning up the yard means spring cleaning. Don't forget to clean up your car. Arvada West Auto sees a need in vehicles for spring maintenance after a cold, snowy winter takes its toll on your vehicle. We want to help you keep safe and your car running smoothly. Our ASE certified technicians are experts at what they do. Ask us about our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. Let us and the power of Napa Auto Care keep you on the road. Call Arvada West Auto 303-422-1065. Stop by 11752 West 64th Avenue or visit us on the web at arvadawestautoandtruck.com, where every question is important. See you soon.
Heading out on the road? Spring travel means unpredictable weather, but don't get blindsided by car trouble. John's 4x4 puts your mind at ease with a thorough inspection backed by knowledge, experience, quality parts, and workmanship. Take advantage of their online promotions available at johns4x4.com. Hit the road, but first, steer yourself into John's 4x4, a proud member of Colorado Select Napa Auto Care, located in Boulder and Fort Collins, and both are open during construction. You'll also find them on Facebook. John's 4x4.
Have you ever wished there was a place you could take your car, put it on a lift, and work on it yourself? My name is Craig Wallace, owner of DIY Auto Repair Shops. We have the lift, the tools, and the expertise. We offer a multi-tier program that allows you to do it yourself, technically assisted, or we can fix it for you. Check us out online at DIYAutoRepairShops.com or give us a call at 303-429-4000. Again, that's 303-429-4000. Let us know you heard about DIY on Drive Radio, and you'll receive 50% off your first DIY hour. We look forward to helping you succeed repairing and maintaining your car.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, and we're back. And again, thanks all of you that are listening, watching us now. Again, we're on YouTube. You can go to youtube.com and just in the search bar on YouTube, type in one word, Drive Radio, and you'll find us. I also put the links up on our Facebook page. And again, please subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. We're getting close to 2,000 likes now on Facebook. It's growing all the time. So tell your friends, tell your family. We'd love to have you be a part of that. We put a lot of stuff on YouTube, and even some of our guests here put stuff on. I know Randy, he'll throw stuff up on our YouTube or on our Facebook page quite often. So we put stuff up on Facebook almost daily. About the only time I don't is if I just get so swamped with my real job that I can't get to it. But typically, even late at night, I'm usually poking something up on Facebook that's of some interest, and I do my best to give you guys some information on a daily basis. So continue to look at that and check things out and watch it. And I just heard myself again. Randy's playing us again in the background. Hey, let's go to the phones. Let's go to Mike real quick. Mike, what's going on today?
Hey, good afternoon, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, I got a 2007 Toyota FJ Cruiser. It's been a great truck. It's awesome in the snow. It's great in the mountains. It's never given me a problem. And best of all, it's paid off. The question I have for you guys is, I got about 117,000 miles on it. At what point should I start being concerned about looking into changing out timing belts and other high mileage items?
Well, first of all, the FJ Cruiser has a timing chain, and that's a lifetime part.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about that.
But when they say lifetime part, I mean, everything's got a finite life to it.
Those chains will run for a very, very long time.
Yeah, chains are. It's not like a timing belt. That's 90,000 was I think the longest we went on a timing belt.
Okay.
And a chain, easily 200 plus.
Yeah. Keep in mind the chain technology and even the cams and everything they run on is so different from what we used to do on some of the small block Chevys and Fords and so on, where timing, or even the old 302 Fords and etc. It used to be you'd put a timing chain in at 90 to 100,000 miles. Those days are gone. They just the chain will literally last as long as the rest of the engine does.
Okay, that's good to know. Is there anything else I should be keeping an eye on as this thing starts getting older and older?
Your typical wear items. Spark plugs are 100,000 miles. Those kind of things, which you probably already had those replaced once.
Fluids, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, but your serpentine belt, check that periodically.
Hoses, just in the things you've done to get to 117, just keep doing.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I'm just being. It sounds funny, but that's really honestly, if you're at 117, you've had great luck. You haven't had any major issues. Just keep doing what you're doing, and not only is it paid off, they don't make that vehicle anymore now either. So that's not.
We still do.
1 year, right?
Yeah, I think production
the last
ends
year
in August of this year.
Okay, that's what I thought. So yeah, it's close to being done, being produced. So you may see the market actually. You might see those climb up in value. That's my prediction. I think you will, because it's a unique enough vehicle that once it goes out of production, I think the values will pop up.
Oh, they're great trucks. I mean, with the tires on all four corners. They're awesome in the snow.
Yep.
And they were supposed to take them off production a couple of years ago, too, and they were called back. So I don't know if we'll see the end of the run, but it'd be nice to see if something comes up, increase in value if they do take them off the market. So anyhow, thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. Thanks for calling us. We appreciate it. I think they are done this year, though. Everything I've read.
Yeah. They're absolutely going to be done this year. Yeah. He mentioned that they were supposed to end a couple of years ago, and those rumors were always persistent. I read it on the internet. Well, must be true.
Yeah. All right, give us a call, 303-477-5600. We'll get you right on air. Tom in Broomfield is up next. Tom, welcome. What's going on today?
Hey, guys. Yeah, we bought a 2009 Lexus with 25,000 miles on it, and we've had it for a year now, put another 10,000 on it. And I was wondering if I need to do any fluid changes on the transaxle or the coolant.
And I didn't hear how many miles are on it now.
36 then.
About
35. 36ish. Yeah. 36,000.
09 at 36, so you're basically 5 years old. You're still really low miles, though. I think, again, I keep saying what I would do, but that's why you guys call in, is to ask our opinion. If it were me, I would check them. Right. Look at them very closely, see how everything looks and inspects, and if it's up to speed, I think I'd leave it alone at 36K, but I would have them inspected.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it turns out good, just do the normal maintenance routine on the. Okay, great.
Yeah, and just so you know, the transmission is going to be a sealed transmission, so you'll need a technician to check that out.
Yeah, you won't be able to check that yourself. Somebody will have to do it for you.
That's good to know.
Yeah, if you're looking for a transmission,
there's no dipstick. That's right. It's not going to be there.
Around all afternoon looking for a
That's
dipstick,
right.
yeah.
That's right. And I doubt, really, at 36K and an 09 with full synthetic in it, I doubt if you're going to need anything. But again, it's worth having it inspected.
Okay. Did the manufacturer put full synthetic in it?
Yes, they did.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, thanks, guys.
You betcha, Tom. Thanks for calling. And yeah, and you were seeing that's the benefits of full synthetic fluids, guys. And the manufacturers have been using them now for a number of years. You've heard us on this show for the last 10 years recommend synthetic fluids. We've not pulled away from that. I'm a firm believer in synthetic product, period. I don't care what you're talking about, from transmission to engine to differentials, and all these guys are shaking their head. If you're on YouTube watching, we're all shaking our heads because that's the reality. That's how much better the fluid quality is, and that's why the manufacturers have gone to it. Not only does it help them with CAFE ratings and the fuel economy and all the rest of the stuff that goes into that, but it's just a better product in the end and makes everything work better, shift better, everything smoother. It's just a better all-around product at the end of the day.
Right. Less issues down the road.
Yeah, and from a consumer standpoint, if I have, let's talk about oil, if I can do an oil change every 10,000 miles versus every 5 or 3, which it used to be, you're saving a lot of money yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
And you might not be saving money, but you're saving a lot of time.
Right.
Between
Which is money.
that. Yeah, exactly. And and even though it sounds like maybe it's going to cost a lot more, it really doesn't, because it goes that much further.
Exactly right.
Yeah, and you'll have half as many filters.
Exactly.
So
yeah. So it's.
I'm a believer in it. It's the only way to go, and I'm one that says I don't care if I have to spend more money to run synthetic. At the end of the day, it's still the best way to do it. So let's go to, let's see, I think Sam in Windsor is next. Sam in Windsor, welcome. What's going on today?
Oh, I got a PO171 OBD2 code.
Okay.
And I'll tell you what I've checked so far. Maybe you can point me in the right direction, but I'm almost 90, well, pretty close to 100% sure I don't have any vacuum leaks. Checked for all that, and then I checked. It's got good manifold vacuum still. It's running within spec around 17, 19. And the only thing I haven't really checked yet, but I'm waiting to do, is check fuel pressure and make sure the fuel pump and everything is operating up to specs as far as pressure goes. But I don't know. I'm kind of maybe thinking I might have a bad injector, or a couple injectors getting weak on me. I'm not sure.
But what engine's in that one?
That's the 3.8 supercharged.
Okay.
And are you having any drivability issues?
No, it runs good.
Okay.
The fuel trim numbers are way up on it. It's a lean condition.
Right.
The short-term fuel trim numbers are up around 20%, 20.3.
That's up
last
there.
time I set it, last time I tripped the code, and the long-term is like 16.4.
Have you used propane or anything around the intake manifold to see if that has any change in it, to see if you've got an intake manifold leak or something like that?
I did. I did check that. I didn't use propane, but I used, just some starting fluid.
That's harder to check. I would recommend you do the propane test on it, because you'll be more accurate in actually what's going on than you will with starting fluid or carb cleaner or something along those lines. So do the propane test on it next to make sure you don't have an intake leak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's really hard to find.
And since you're not running, you're not having any drivability issues, you might not hear the change with that. And that's,
you need to be looking at the scanner while you're doing that.
You need to be watching the scanner and seeing what that.
That's why you use propane in the scanner to do that test.
And it's a lot safer.
Yeah, and it's much safer. Yeah, to Ken's point.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so you're still thinking I probably got a...
You very well could have an intake
Those superchargers, they had some inherent intake leaks and stuff like that.
Because you're forcing, it's pressurized. It's not a vacuum intake. It's a pressurized manifold at that point, and that's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks so much for the phone call. And with that, let's take a quick break, Zach. We'll come back. About the last 10 minutes of Drive Radio, one line open, 303-477-5600. You're listening to John Rush Drive Radio, AM560, The Source.
At At Napa Auto Parts, we've been the most trusted name in auto parts for over 80 years. Probably because we've never stopped looking for ways to make the great parts we sell even better. It's a commitment to quality you'll find in every one of our 310,000 parts. From the bacteria-killing surface on our cabin air filters, to the patented damping mechanism on our drive-align belt tensioners, to our revolutionary new Adaptive One brakes. And Napa parts are covered by a warranty that's good at any of our 6,000 Napa Auto Parts stores nationwide. Yeah, maybe you don't get this at your average auto parts store, but at Napa, we've spent the last 80 years making sure we were anything but average. To find the Napa Auto Parts store nearest you, go to NapaOnline.com. Napa, get the good stuff.
With over 125 locations in Colorado, southern Wyoming, and western Nebraska, there's only one place to get the good stuff: Napa Auto Parts.
Is your car or truck reliable? Are you sure? Hi, this is Donnie Cipher for Cipher Automotive. Many times when we're performing a simple maintenance inspection, we find things that are about to break down. For our customers who perform regular maintenance, that's the key, avoiding those little things that turn into big ones. Cipher Automotive has a technical staff second to none. No repair is routine, and our techs know the latest cutting-edge techniques to ensure a reliable, long-lasting vehicle for you. Get your car checked out today. Find us at CipherAuto.com or call 303-422-5261 for Cipher Automotive.
Ah, summer. A time of fun, sun, high temperatures, and the ultimate family road trip. Before embarking on the ultimate family adventure, bring your vehicle over to John's 4x4 Center on Arapahoe in Boulder for a little TLC. Our summer maintenance inspection includes pressure testing your air conditioning system, checking your coolant levels and tire pressure, testing your battery, inspecting your hoses and belts for cracks, cuts, and bulges, testing your transmission, power steering, and brake fluids. Having your vehicle inspected before a long road trip can keep you on the road, not stuck beside it during your vacation. John's 4x4 is under new ownership as of January 2014. Stop by and see what's new. Located on Arapahoe Road just east of 63rd behind Carpet 1, we are open to serve you Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. with shuttle service and after-hours drop. Give us a call at 303-449-2640. Follow us on Facebook or check us out at johns4x4.com.
Having transmission problems? Stop by Larry's Automotive today. We're your only Colorado Select Auto Care in North Denver that also specializes in automatic and manual transmissions. We're a family-owned small business taking care of your family-owned fleet of cars, trucks, and SUVs since 1994. We specialize in transmission and drivetrain problems and offer a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty. We're also an ATRA member. Call us at 303-427-2108 for an appointment or find us on the web at coloradoselect.com. Larry's Automotive, a proud member of Colorado Select Auto Care.
Reliability. It's what every driver wants from their vehicle. Regardless of make or model, you want your vehicle to take you where you need to go. Reliability is exactly what the Colorado Select Auto Care Centers offer. They've set the standard for excellence in automotive repair and maintenance. Each member offers Napa Auto Care Peace of Mind Warranty, along with the highest level of customer service and integrity. To find a Colorado Select Auto Care Center near you, log on to drive-radio.com or call 303-546-NAPA.
All right, and we are back. Thanks for tuning in. One line open, 303-477-5600, and we really do appreciate all of you that call in. We were just talking through the break. We've got great callers, great listeners. We really do enjoy it, and the listeners are really across the board. We have young, old, male, female. You know, we like all of you that call in, and as I've said many, many times, there's no dumb question, and some of you even related to that, well, if I've got this, maybe somebody else is thinking about that. Chances are they are. So that's exactly right. So we appreciate you guys calling in. And let me turn my iPad on silent here since it's dinging
You know,
at
the
me.
other thing it does, too, it keeps us in touch.
Yes.
You know, I tend to be in Littleton, and what I'm thinking about in Littleton and
Your own little world.
my type of customers I deal with. But that's not the same as Ken has or somebody else has. You know, that customers more commute than my customers, and keeps us
It's exactly right.
grounded a little
That's
better.
exactly right. Well, and I say this all the time. There's never a show that I do that I don't learn something. Whether it's from one of you guys here, whether it's from a Randy that comes on, or whether it's you all as listeners. There's not a week that goes by that I don't gain some knowledge, either by studying for the show, doing the show itself, having callers call in. There's not a week that goes by I don't learn something new. It's probably the biggest reason I keep doing it, is it just keeps me really in touch with everything that's going on, and I enjoy that. So let's go to the phones. We'll finish out this last little bit of Drive Radio. Scott in Platteville, what's going on today?
Hey, John. Hey, I had a question for you. A few shows back, I think my wife kind of fell in love with this 2013 Ford Edge.
Okay.
And I know a few shows back he had like a list out of like bad SUVs.
And that was on one little list, and I don't know. It was on the list because it's old. That's the only reason that whoever did the list put it on there, and I thought that was a dumb reason to have it on there because it's a good car.
That is a good car.
It is a good car.
Yeah, she had an SUV, for many years. She had an Equinox, and she drove the heck out of it. But I convinced her to drive I bought this truck, and she drove it for a while. I got that 250, and she wanted to get an SUV again. But I guess the biggest deceiving thing on that is, even ask the dealer, and it's kind of the blingy one. It's the limited edition. It's got the all-wheel drive.
Right.
She needs all-wheel drive, but the hubcap's on there. It's a hub. It's not a solid wheel, and they say it's a solid wheel, but it's actually a cap that goes on that wheel.
That's right. It's a simulator, is what I would actually call it. That's on top of an aluminum wheel. It's a wheel cap. It's not a hub cap like we'd think in the old days that come on and off because they're secured on. But yes, it is a simulator on top of the wheel.
Okay. Yep. So, where we're at, sometimes she'll pick up a bolt in the tire and stuff. We got a lot of oil field traffic.
Right.
Here. I think we have more nuts and bolts on the road than we do on the gravel.
Probably.
But I was just looking at that. To take that cap off, you actually have to take the lug nuts off, and then does that cap just come off that way?
They don't come off at all.
Yeah, and Toyota uses that type of wheel. I know Chrysler is using it.
Most everybody does.
Yeah. Even Audi uses it on their wheel.
Oh, so it doesn't come off.
It does not come off.
No.
Okay.
And you'll see different types of names for it. Where we call it Chrome Clad on our trucks. On our New Highlander, we call it Chrome Tech. There's a couple benefits to that type of wheel. One, we can use a different coating on it than you can on a regular aluminum wheel.
Which makes it more resistant to corrosion.
Particularly stuff like magnesium chloride that we use here in Colorado. So it's a much more durable finish. The downside is if you curb it or hit something like that, you're done.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, it was just deceiving, like you say. So when you actually have to get new tires or if they have to put it on a tire machine,
there's special machines that'll make sure the finish doesn't get damaged. We all use those now. Yeah, that's not a big deal.
That kind of threw me off.
They're called touchless tire machines now, so nothing really even touches the rim anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, good deal.
Scott, thanks so much. We appreciate the phone call. Enjoy your afternoon. Happy Easter to you. Let's go to Drew. Drew, what's going on today?
Yeah, I got a good friend. He has a 94 Ford Ranger, 3-liter engine, and has a leak in the oil pan, the oil pan gasket. And it looks like you have to pull the engine to change that gasket. Is that true, or you guys got some tricks there?
I believe, and Ken, you can tell me too, but I think you either got to pull the engine or drop the front axle assembly out of it, one of the two.
And is it 2-wheel or 4-wheel drive?
It's 2-wheel.
Oh, never mind.
Shouldn't have to.
Yeah, shouldn't need to.
But maybe it's a 4-wheel drive then.
If it's a 4-wheel drive, typically the front axle assembly gets in the way of the oil pan, and you've either got to do engine or, and we always just drop the front axle rather than trying to do the pull the engine out. Pulling the engine out's a pain, so you don't do that much.
Just adds a bunch of risks that we don't want to take.
That's right. The front axle's not a big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess front axle it is.
There you go. Guys. All right, thank you so much. Appreciate it. And I think this will probably be our last caller. David, what's going on today?
Hey there, guys. I'm like your other caller. I got a FJ with 150,000 miles on it.
Awesome.
And all I've done is oil and lots of brakes and lots of tires.
Good for you.
Keeps on going.
Good for you.
Trading up to a 4Runner.
Okay.
And
just drove one of those the other day.
What is the Limited the way to go, or is the model down?
Well, it depends on what you want for features, really.
Yeah, personally, for me, I would look at either the SR5 or if you're more into the off-road kind of stuff, the Trail with the
which is what I drove.
The KDSS system
works really well. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I should explain, KDS has this kinetic dynamic suspension system, which actually almost unlocks your stability bars, so you get more articulation.
You get more articulation. It's got locking diffs on it. We actually took it up and did a little four-wheeling with it, and the truck works fantastic.
Yeah.
In comparison to the diesel Grand Cherokee we had a week or two before, it was 2-to-1 over the Grand Cherokee off-road.
Plus, it has the crawl control and the multi-terrain select.
Right. It works very well.
Yeah. So I guess it really depends on.
That'd be my choice. So I'm with Randy. I'd buy that before the Limited.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can I get leather and a backup camera?
Yes.
Not in the trail.
You can get leather, but you can't get. I don't know about the backup camera because the one I drove had leather. Or if it's not leather, it was simulated leather because it was not a velour type, cloth seat.
On the trail?
Yes.
And I apologize. I've been a little bit out of the exact specs on that particular vehicle.
That's okay. No, I'm just going off of what the one I drove. I'm positive it was leather.
I've got the brochure, so I can check.
He's going to look real quick. I'm pretty sure it is. And we're running out of time, David, but I'm pretty sure it's leather. And again, that'd be my choice over the Limited just because of the features off-roading that it's got.
Yeah. Plus, the one difference on the Limited is you have a full-time four-wheel drive system, whereas the Trail and the SR5 have part-time systems
with low range, etc. So, hey guys, with that, sorry, David, we got to drop you. I got to run. We're running out of time, guys. Thanks, everybody, for coming down today. Steve from Geno's, great job, as always. Thank you very much. Randy from Toyota, thanks so much. Randy Hunt, I should say, from Toyota, thanks so much for coming in. Ken Rackley from Toon Tech out in the Aurora area, as always. Great to have you with us.
Always good.
Always envious of Ken and his exercise routine in the morning. So I envy him in the mornings. When I get up, I should be more like him. Larry Unger on the other side of the glass, our producer every week, and Zach. Thanks for watching us. You guys that have been on YouTube watching us, we appreciate it. Continue to like us on Facebook. Yep, I should wave. Go to YouTube, find our channel, subscribe to it. We're going to do this on a weekly basis. We've got a remote coming up, so we're actually going to be out in the community. We're going to be at Front Range Community College on May 3rd. So in 2 weeks, we'll be there. Stop by and see us. I've already got some hats and some giveaways to give you. Come in and see us. Say hi. Check out everything that Front Range has to offer, especially if you're interested in a trade-type school for your kids. That's the or yourself even. That'd be the place to come by. With that, we're going to be out of here. Happy Easter. Everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy your time tomorrow. Family, friends, the worship time, whatever it is you do, enjoy it. We appreciate very much all that you do for us. I'm John Rush, your host. Drive Radio, KLZ 560 The Source.
Drive Radio is a presentation of Colorado Select Auto Care Centers, the independently owned and operated